All right. Welcome. Hello. Hello. Hello to everybody that's here, everybody that's watching this after the fact. My name is Joel. This is the Pinball Network. This is the Flippin' Out stream on Wednesdays. And yeah, here on the Pinball Network, we try to provide you with pinball content almost every day or almost weekday, and then usually try to get a stream or two in on the weekends. But yeah, tonight we're gonna do another chatting stream. I know I really enjoy these. I have a few guests with me to talk this through. And so yeah, if you guys we do these every other Wednesday, 10 Eastern to usually midnight. And then we everything's on YouTube. So if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, thank you. Glad you're enjoying that. Feel free to smash that like button or whatever you have to do on YouTube. I don't know. But yeah, we got a lot of people filing in here. So Kirk Hobbs, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good afternoon overseas there. Do you have any spare nuclear document? No, I don't. No, I don't. Nikik Lou, not to pile on more work, but is there a way to start releasing the audio from these podcasts? Not able to... Yeah, we've talked about that. It's funny. We've talked about that even with Triple Drain, where it's like Triple Drain will record the podcast, but then some people want us to do video. And then there's other people that we do video and they want us to do podcasts. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to figure out a cool way to release that. John, how you doing? Another John, how we doing? Outlaw Pinball Bob, hope you're doing well. You're going to see one of your wonderful hats here in just a second. Les, Mama Loves Pinball, great name. That's good. I can't always watch them, but I love to listen. Yeah, I will. Here's my plug for YouTube Premium. I actually pay for YouTube Premium. One, because I have small kids, and when you play YouTube videos that they want to watch, and there's a commercial every 5 seconds, they get very upset. So YouTube Premium, commercial free, and it allows you to start a video, but you can like turn your phone off, like screen off, and it'll keep playing the video. So it's really good for audio. But yeah, Michael, everybody, how's everybody doing? Jeffrey, yes, I will be going to Cleveland. Bob, I want to talk Bond. Perfect. Okay, well, we are going to talk Bond. So to finish up here with TPN, on Sundays, the Sub Challenge, Jordan and Becca, they do a fantastic job with their streams. Lots of fun, lots of energy. Frisco Pinball would be Hottie. Super nice guy down in Texas. Definitely check him out. And he's on the hunt. He's on the hunt for a Stranger Things LE. So if anybody has one, hit him up. Hottie at Frisco Pinballs. Tuesday, the
Gonna
Pinballers.
pay top dollar as well.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready to pay. The Pinballers, they suck. Wednesday would be Pinballers would be Mike, Lisa, and Carter. You just heard Mike's laugh there. Yeah, so they are awesome. They do Tasty Tuesdays. Definitely give them a shot. Here we are at Flipping Out on Wednesdays. I usually do a chatting stream, and then on the off weeks, I actually play pinball, believe it or not. Thursdays would be Chuck Wirt, followed by George Don't Panic Flip. Also fantastic streams, great conversation, high energy, all the fun stuff. And then Saturday would be Jedi McMuffin, if he can squeeze one in. So is that Deadpool behind you serial number? I don't know what serial it is. Did it say it? I don't know. All right, so that's everybody. And then we do TPN. We were super appreciative of the 8 sponsors that we have. They support us in this amount of content that we create. So here we go. Comet Pinball. If you need anything LED related, Ryan and his team are fantastic people. Measle Mods. They make some awesome mods for your games. I have some of their Deadpool mods and Turtle mods. Definitely check them out. Scorebit. John and his team have made a really cool device where you can basically connect any pinball machine onto the internet. Frisco Pinball. Yeah, I'm pretty subpar. Okay, at least we agree. Frisco, he's in chat. If anybody has a Stranger Things LE or knows of one, hit him up. And then Stern Pinball, makers of some amazing pinball machines. We're going to be talking a lot about them tonight. Pinmonk, Victor, awesome dude. Makes some really cool mods to add to your pinball machines. He has the quiet fan mods for your Stern or for your spooky games so that when they're on in the background, you don't hear a humming sound. He also does some LED gel inserts, and he does the cooling flipper mods to keep your flippers nice and cool if you're playing for a long time. Zach and Nicole Flipping Out, I'm super grateful for them. I stream for them. They let me borrow games. I really appreciate them, not only on a personal level, but also if you're actually looking to buy a game, whether it's new, used, any accessory, hit up Zach and Nicole. They will treat you right. They are good people. So hit up Zach and Nicole for sure. Pinball Photos takes some awesome photos that you can use and print off. He makes some really cool prints. I need to get some to help decorate my basement down here. And then last but not least, Doug at Speaker Light Kits. If you look behind me, you can see I have them both in my Deadpool and my Turtles. I really enjoy them. It really just adds something to those games. And when I get Godzilla, I will absolutely be getting those as well. So there we go. There's our list of TPN. There's our list of sponsors. And here are the three other faces. If you guys had to guess, these are who's this is who we got tonight. So we're gonna go around, do some real quick introductions, and then we're diving right in. So the to-do list tonight is before the break, we're gonna talk Bond. We're definitely gonna need chat's help there because it's just pure speculation at this point. So we have some ideas on what could be in the game. We also have some ideas on like what would be cool to see in the game, code wise or feature wise. So we definitely want chat's help on that, especially if we have some really good Bond fans. Jolie, are you pumped for Bond? We're going to talk about that. Yeah. And then the second half of the stream, we're going to do this or that. So Zach and Greg at Straight Down the Middle just released a really cool this or that video, and we just straight up ripped it off. So we are going to go through everything that they went through and discuss it between the four of us. So that's what we're talking about tonight. If there's anything else that the chat wants us to talk about, we're all ears. That's what we're here for. Should have a good time. So let's go around the circle, do our introductions. We'll start with you, Mike. Who are you? What do you do? What was the last game of pinball you played?
Well, I'm Mike, and I am from the aforementioned Pinballers. We typically stream Monday and Friday, but it's been a very busy summer for us, so we've kind of been sporadic there. Well, we're hoping to get back to the regular schedule. The odd tournament we stream as well. So you can check us out on Pinballers. The last game I played was Congo, actually. We streamed it yesterday and also played it a bit today. Been playing a lot of the Congo. It's an underrated game. I really actually enjoy it. It's a little different in that there's not your typical, hit these shots to start a mode and then do a mode. There's sort of different features all over the play field with that utilizes all the shots nicely, and it seems to be pretty balanced so far. And I'm really enjoying the game and having a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really good sounds in that game too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we'll keep going, Mike. Obviously, thanks for being here. One day we need to drag in Lisa or Carter into this one of these as well. But
Definitely.
one day. George, go for it, man.
My name is George. I stream on Don't Panic Flip Monday and Tuesdays for the most of the time. It's been a really busy few weeks here. Work has been killing me. Thursday, I'm on the Pinball Network, as Joel mentioned earlier. And the last game I played was Rush LE. And that was last Thursday. And unfortunately, no, that's actually not the case because I played in a tournament on Sunday. But the last game I streamed on, I'll say, because I don't remember where I left off, it was Rush LE, and love the game. The rule set on it is fantastic. The game is fantastic to play. Ran into an interesting issue with Node Board 10 frying or is no longer available, which controls the ramp. And fun little side note is that when that dies, the game registers, I think, that Node Board 10 can't be found and allows the target behind the ramp to trigger mode. So I was able to play through and not have to switch games or anything like that last Thursday. And I thought that was a cool, nifty little bit of programming.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Squalito, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. Yeah, no, that's genius. That's really smart. I got shout out to Ray Day if he happens to be in chat. Well done. But yeah, well, George, exciting news for George. I know you said you bought a plane ticket. You got a fun little trip coming up because you just bought something new.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm headed out to Boise at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow to pick up a Class B Winnebago and take the adventuring of pinball and moving pinballs to the next level. Went and found it, tested it out, found a bunch local, found a bunch remote, haggled for roughly 3 weeks with, I don't know, like 10 or 15 different distributors, and finally found one in Winnebago that was the right color, the right year, had all the right options, and was able to make a price work. So yeah, flying out to Boise tomorrow, driving it back just in time for Dory Hill this weekend.
So it's basically a fancy camper van, and you're just
yes.
And I obviously the question to follow is how many pinball machines will fit in it.
So 2, if we use the tent up top to sleep in easily. I think maybe I could sneak a 3rd in there if they're all vertical. But otherwise, 1 very comfortably on its side.
But could you play one in it? Is it possible?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Is it
That one I
possible
haven't
to?
even tried.
But you could basically pull up to a campsite and plop that bad boy on the ground and rip up a generator there, and boom, you're.
Oh, yeah, the RV actually has a generator,
There we
so I
go.
can output full power and power it up. So yeah, I guess it probably wouldn't be too bad. I probably don't even have to put all the legs on. Just the front legs, wheel it out the back, and
Oh
make sure
yeah.
that the height of the camper is fine and just play it.
Yeah. That sounds awesome, man. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Kaz, how you doing, buddy? I'm glad you're here. T Mick too. Yeah, everybody's piling in here. I appreciate that. I'm glad everybody's here tonight. All right. Well, George, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm excited for you and happy travels tomorrow.
Thanks. For having me.
Craig Bobby. Craig.
Hey, Craig Bobby. I do the top stories news segment on the Pinball Show with Zach Meny and Dennis Kriesel, and of course that can be found on the Pinball Network's podcatcher that airs generally every Monday. And the last game that I played was Godzilla. And good news, guys! Drum roll, please. I finally broke 1 billion. There you go.
It was like
Woohoo!
it was like 1.8 billion. You posted that.
One point, I scorched my way through it, and so two things I found interesting about my game that I had, which my previous high score prior to that was somewhere between 650 and 750 million, and that's, by the way, both with the Avengers and with Godzilla. So that's the first time I've ever been over 1 billion on any pinball machine. And I think with Godzilla, what got me going was there's just some. I didn't realize I was doing this, but kind of in thinking back about my game, I only beat one monster through the whole game,
Okay.
right? So I was able to do that. I want to say fairly easily because I've never been able to do it prior and I haven't done it since. But um, you don't have to go very far in terms of battling a ton of monsters to get over that. And what I was just, I think in looking back on my game, I was making the most out of all the multi-balls that I was in. So when I was in like the Godzilla multi-ball, I was doing I did like a 5 times jackpot. I did the super jackpots, and I find that on the multi-balls, it seems a little easier to juggle those balls versus the Avengers. I think that's because some of the wire trails or the wire ramps take longer for the ball to return, just slightly longer to return to your flippers. So there's more time to sort of juggle balls on the playfield, I find. Not always, but you can get into a bit of a rhythm. And some of the ball paths too, the way they go sort of side to side as they come down the playfield sometimes in and around that saucer allows for more juggling of multi-balls. Anyway, I just had I was I just hit one of those great games where you're hitting everything, all of a sudden everything seems easy, or I'm like, this is incredible, and off it went. So I spent like a ton of time in Tokyo, and then when I switched cities, I was collecting like hundreds of millions of carnage bonuses, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just doing stuff that I didn't really realize at the time. So I was just lingering, I think, in that one city for a long time and collecting a lot of bonuses and jackpots and stuff, which kind of built everything up. I powered up my Godzilla up to 6, so I got to see the Terra, Godzilla multi-ball mode as well. The Monster Rampage. I went through all the multi-balls and I was killing all of them. So it really made a big difference in that game to do well on those different modes. And I've barely been over 400 million since.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, here we go. I'm going to
Yeah.
do it my next game. And then I was like 30 million. I was like,
Yeah. That's pinball.
That's pinball.
That's pinball.
It's maddening. But I will say again, I said this last week, and not, sometimes when you do really well in a game like that and you blow it up, you're kind of like, okay, I've kind of seen it. I've kind of done it. It kind of loses a little bit of its polish. I'd say it's made me even more feverish about the game because I realized that I really only still scratched the surface of it, and I was able to blow it up and still wanted to do more. I still think after playing this game for 500 some times, it is still, I think, the greatest pinball machine that's ever made, and will be very difficult to top. I think ever. Hopefully they do, but I'm going to be I will be surprised if they ever come up with a game that is as complete as I think this game is ultimately.
Hmm.
And I do think Stern, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this again, I don't think Stern's ever going to stop making it. So there you go. That's a production update for everyone.
Well, yeah, I
It will
don't
never
ever.
be out of production, ever.
I think they're going to
Paul
be.
might have something to say about that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they're going to be pumping them out for quite a while. There's
As
no
long as
denying
they have that
yeah.
license, I think, and as long as there's demand, there's demand, I'm sure they'll renew it. I mean, what's Toho going to do? Say, no, Stern, you can't, renew this license? Who's coming
Well,
to them to make a...
No,
I
we
don't
do
know.
not like money. That's
Yeah.
okay. We
Yeah.
don't like.
Do you really still want it? I don't know. No,
Yeah.
we can roll into that. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull that up because I actually had a really interesting discussion about this recently with Travis Murray, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Stern and some of their updates. But last but not least, yes. So Craig, thank you for being here. Real quick, how many times have you played Avengers in the last like 3 weeks?
So I played it when Stern did their online challenge there with the internet connected. I played it once just to see my name on the leaderboard. I'm sure it's gone now. I
Yeah,
played it once just to get on there.
yeah, yeah.
But I haven't played it since. And I keep thinking, oh, I've got to try it again just to see how I
Yeah.
feel about it. The more I don't play it though, the more I'm starting to think I may actually sell it to try and get either a Rush LE or a Rush Premium.
Well,
Premium.
if it was easier to get games out of your basement, I'd say, like let one of your friends
know.
borrow it or something. And the reason I say that
Yeah.
is just because then it's out of your house, but not out of your ownership. So then you'll
good
know
point.
whether or not you miss it, that kind of
Yep.
thing. Because if it's gone and you don't, that's
That's what I did with my Avengers. My Avengers at a friend's house for this Spider-Man right here.
yeah,
That'll be coming back in a couple weeks. I do miss it. I do miss my Avengers. So
All
you
right.
might miss it if it does go away.
yeah. I totally get it. Well, yeah. Everybody else is filing in. Thanks for filing in here. Yeah, really appreciate that. CNK, by the way, I'm glad you liked the episode. Appreciate that. So, and last but not least, my name is Joel. I do the Triple Drain Pinball Podcast with Tom and Travis, and then I stream here every Wednesday, and then for Flipping Out every other Wednesday. So, thanks for everybody being here. The last game I played was actually Deadpool. We had some family over this weekend, and my brother actually got pretty far in Deadpool, and he was loving it. He was loving it. So he was just gushing about. I mean, he's very much a novice player, and to feel like he's actually accomplishing things. He got to Sauron, I always mix those up. Is it Sauron? Sauron? It's not Saruman. Sauron.
No,
right?
Sauron.
Sauron.
Yep.
I mix it up with him and the guy from Lord of the Rings. So yeah, but he like got to him, and just the fact that he was completing things in a pinball game, he was like super ramped up about it. But all right, so Craig, you were talking about production, and so we're gonna roll into Bond. What do we know? What do we know about Bond? We know very little, but I will say it has come out. It's not official out of Stern's mouth, but it has been leaked from at least one distributor that there will be a price increase. There will be a price increase. So if we think about this, when Godzilla came out, they announced, like, when Godzilla was released, which was this time last year, right? It was right around this time last year. When Godzilla came out, that's when they came out with Insider Connected. And so they're like, here's Godzilla, Insider Connected. Everything, what they announced was everything starting January 1st was going to be this new price increase. But then they also announced that everything that we're building from here till the end of the year is going to have Insider Connected in it. So every game was increased, I think it was $300 because of Insider Connected. But then there was a large increase to get to their current price come January 1st. So what we've apparently heard, there was some distributor, I think, like text or emailed somebody, and they just screenshotted what their distributor said and threw it online. So what it sounds like is there will be a price increase with Bond. So the question is, are we getting more for that? Obviously Insider Connected came, so we could argue potentially there is more there. Is there a chance that something more is coming out of that? Or is there a chance that they saw what Spooky's done recently, or what JJP's done? JJP's selling Toy Stories for $12,000, and so now there's JJP's base model is priced higher than the limited editions that Stern sells. Not to mention backlog. Stern has, as of right now, there are 12 games on the backlog, as in there's 12 games that they will create. So if you're thinking about how the problems that Stern currently has on trying to keep up, they can't keep up. So they've already
Mhm.
announced Guardians this is their final run. They've announced Led Zeppelin's final run, and they've announced Turtle's final run. So that goes from 12 down to 9. But one thing that does stand out is Keith Elwin's designed four games. 4 games. And all 4 of these, all the way back to Iron Maiden, are still technically being produced. So I just think that's insane. 4 for 4. Keith
Mhm.
Elwin, all 4 games are being designed. All I can think of is if they do this price increase, and the rumor, I mean, it's nobody knows. Nobody knows. We can guess. We can guesstimate how much. But I'm guessing this rumor or this increase, Todd Tuckey said only a small increase. Well, George Gomez said the Insider Connected kits were going to be cheap, and cheap ended up being like cheap were his exact words. They're going to be cheap, and cheap ended up being what, $200.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Small is relevant, right? So let's look right now. So if a Rush Pro, what is a Rush Pro? MSRP for a Pro is $6,900. Like it's going over 7. There's no way. There's no way.
Oh
But
yeah.
are they going to like 7.5? Are they going to go to 7.2? I mean,
I think it'll probably be somewhere like, I think another $300 sounds probably about right.
yeah,
But again, look, like you said, look what they did with Jersey Jack. Jersey Jack just came out swinging with Toy Story, right?
yeah,
So I mean, it all depends on the bomb, I guess. What's in the game too, right? If this Bond has a lot of stuff, I mean, they did well with Godzilla. I could see if they were talking about another increase and then they came out with something like what's in the Godzilla Premium or whatnot, then you could see some value in that there. But if you're looking back, I mean, since Led Zeppelin, it does seem like Stern has been putting more in the games, especially the premium and LE models. So that might justify a price increase, but I mean, only time will tell once we see what's in the James Bond.
true. But I know it was pointed out. Somebody pointed this out a while ago, but when they were actually talking coil count in terms of Led Zeppelin versus Godzilla, they're pretty similar. They're actually pretty similar when you actually sit there and count coils.
Oh,
Because
there's more in Led Zeppelin.
yeah,
I've lifted the playfields up side by side because they're beside each other,
yeah,
and there is definitely more coils and mechs going on in Led Zeppelin, believe it or not, than there is in Godzilla. So
Hmm.
which makes me wonder: did Stern raise the bomb, the bill of materials between Led Zeppelin and Godzilla? I don't think they did. I just think Keith Elwin is very particular on where money is used. And what would be really interesting though are certain designers limited because like is their overall mechanical bomb lower because the license of the game is higher, you know? So is it like Godzilla has to have been a cheaper license than Led Zeppelin. So was Keith able to put more physical mechs in the game because his license was cheaper? I don't know. We don't know that. But I think Elwin is incredibly smart with if he's putting something in the game, it's going to be worth it. And the pop bumper is a huge. That's what Hypercoaster just said. Like a pop bumper is a coil every single time. So when I look at Toy Story and it has 4, I'm like, we don't need 4 pop bumpers. We barely.
Mhm.
People could argue if we even need 3. I mean, I don't
yeah.
know. It's an interesting thought. So the prices are going up. As a collector, that sucks, but that also means, I mean, it means the value of all of our games is going up
Yeah,
technically, right? I
yeah.
mean, that's what
The
happened the
use,
last
yeah.
time. I mean, if we want to play that game, or like, sure, it doesn't matter what I paid for my turtles. If you want to buy a turtles today, it's a lot more than that, and it's gonna be a lot more than that soon. So this would be my warning to the 60 plus people watching. If you want to buy a game right now, like if there's a game you want to buy, try to buy it before Tuesday. Because I'm guessing that Tuesday, when they announce the price of the new game, all the new games are going up. And I will tell you, Flipping Out, I know Flipping Out has Mandos in stock, Pro and Premium. I know they have Rush in stock, Pro and Premium, I think. And yeah, so if you're on the edge, this today, like the next few days, this is the time to buy because I'm pretty sure the price is going up, and that means all the distributors just overnight will go. And it does suck. I mean, I have a Godzilla Premium on order, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. But I know if the price of the games are going up, it doesn't matter when I put in that order, it's going to cost me more when it finally comes out. Surely distributors would not put up the price of stock games. They did last time. It's, I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, it sucks for the buyer, right? But yet their view is, if you're trying to buy one new, this is the price of the new one. I don't know. I get
Well,
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you're getting a warning now, right? So you know that the price is going up. You know there's games available. If you're looking to get a game, get it now.
Yeah. It's tough. And that's where I feel bad. Like, I do feel bad for the distributors because it puts them in a weird, these distributors, they have orders. They have orders that they've been waiting and waiting and waiting on. And once again, they're going to be in a position where they're going to have to call up people and tell them, hey, sorry, but that game that we're still waiting on is going to be more than what it was. Ultimately, it's Stern's decisions. They will tell the distributors. Yeah, that's something. I saw this online on Pinside that people were arguing about that. Like, well, I put a deposit down with the distributor, so my cost should be locked in. Stern doesn't take deposits. Stern doesn't do that. So it's you put in a deposit with your distributor. That's a conversation you can have with them. But I don't know. Sterling, I got to buy Godzilla. Yes, Sterling, call him up right now. Buy it right now. Yeah. I got to give Sterling I thought it was funny. I've been talking to Sterling on Facebook, and I get this message last night, and it says, do you have any Godzilla Pros in stock? And if so, what's the out-the-door price? And I was like, Sterling, I don't actually work for Flippin' Out, so I can't give you that information. But
I think Zach has a LE in the vault, though.
yeah, that vault, man. Yeah. All right, so let's dive in. Bond. I mean, that's all I have with outside Stern info is I do know they, what was it, like Turtles? I think they were planning on doing Turtles. At least somebody told me Turtles was on the schedule for like next week, but I think they've now pushed that back because of Bond. And so they're moving the schedule around again. So I'll be curious to see if, like, I know Led Zeppelin was on the line, I think last week, and that they even took like a video of it, Stern did, and put it online. And I think it was like, this is Led Zeppelin's last stand or something. So as far as I know, Led Zeppelin is done. So it would not surprise me that when they refresh the website next Tuesday, we're going to see Led Zeppelin down here in the archive. So
Star Wars, I think, is coming up in the next week or so too, I believe, right?
To make some, and they haven't announced being done with that. So we'll see. Do you think they'll be
done?
Go ahead.
I thought they were done with the comic version of it.
Well, yeah, which is
the comic
really
version
sad because that's
the best version.
The best version by far.
Definitely.
Do you think we'll have a Bond teaser Friday? I hope so. I mean, that's kind of their thing. Is that's how they roll, Bond teaser. So we'll see. So let's hop into Bond. What do we know about Bond? The answer is very little. Very little. The little bit that they showed, the little teaser video, the only thing there was only two little bits of information that I pulled from that. One, the sound package. The sound was definitely a very classic Bond theme. And then the second part was right at the very end, it showed the copyright. And I don't know if the three of you guys read this, but it showed the ownership or who owns the copyright of Bond. And there were two companies. It was MGM and some other company. I don't know. But what's interesting is MGM and this other company, they own all the old stuff, while all the Daniel Craig James Bond is owned by those two companies. And I think it's Columbia Pictures, the people that make those movies. So what's interesting is on the Stern trailer, instead of seeing all three companies at the bottom, it only showed two. So people are reading into that saying, no Daniel Craig. It's got to be the older Bond. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what, like when you give pinball people just a tiny bit of information, they're going to look at every little bit of it. So a lot of people are saying older Bond, and then it's coming out, or at least rumors are coming out from conversations with distributors and whatnot. People are thinking it's probably Sean Connery. Like they're probably going to hone in on Sean Connery. So my thoughts there, and I'm curious what your thoughts, if this is basically a movie-based pin, And so I would hope that they have movie clips because if they don't have movie clips, what are they going to do? They're not going to, they can't grab comic book art or animations like they did in Avengers. There isn't anything, right? And there's no way Stern's going to sit there and 3D animate a spy movie, right? I mean, I would hope. Do the three of you guys have like, do they have any other options besides movie clips?
I
No.
imagine it's movie clips.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be movie clips. Um, I don't see any other way they can really pull off a Bond game without having movie clips in it. They did Avengers, but I mean, there's comic books for Avengers. You know, they didn't have to put any movie clips in there. They just put comic images and whatnot. But Bond, I mean, what other IPs are there of Bond other than really just the movies?
Well, there were books, but that doesn't help, right? Yeah, there were books. I don't know. I would hope these were so to be 100% honest, chat. The four of us are not Bond experts. We are not. So I tried, as painful as it was, I tried to get David Dennis on this stream tonight, but the guy was too tired. He was too tired, so he couldn't he couldn't stay up. But he loves James Bond. So I don't know if anybody's if they're a huge Bond fan in chat, please educate us. But a lot of people are honing in on, I think what is it, like Thunderball or Goldfinger? Apparently those are some of the better ones. Appreciate the follow there. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll be multiple movies, if they'll hone in on just one and we'll follow through that. Unless Bond is a code name for Archer, I would totally be fine with Archer instead of Bond. I love that show.
Archer, I'm back in.
Yeah. JP didn't have any clips either. They could go that way. I mean, you would hope not. Because this is what I would assume movie clips. I would hope movie clips. Now, I would hope they don't redub voices like they had to do in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I hope we have actual movie clips. And then when we're talking about art on the playfield, if you have movie clips, you have to go photorealistic. So it's going to have to be art like Mando's art. Or, I mean, to be honest, it's got to be like Christopher Franchi would be the perfect guy for this.
I posted that too. Yeah, I said Franchi, this would kill the art on this game if he was the artist, which I'm pretty sure he's not, because I believe he's got a bit of a rift with Stern, right? So
I know him and Gomez are tight. And so that's another rumor. Who's the designer on this? So there's conversation on maybe this was okay. So one of the rumors that I heard was that Venom was supposed to come out in May. And that was the one they pushed back, trying to catch up on everything. So the rumor that I had heard was Venom was supposed to be May. And that would make sense, because if Venom would have already come out, then Comic-Con, with having Seth MacFarlane and Ozzy Osbourne there in the booth, with Venom already out and Venom was supposed to be in the booth, having all that lined up would have made sense. So
Todd McFarlane.
What? Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane. Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, Family Guy. Yeah. So that would have made sense. So at least it sounds like Venom is done, and then Bond was supposed to come out right now, because if you actually look at it, apparently Bond's 60th anniversary is like right now. Bond 60th anniversary. It's like this fall. So that lines up October 5th. So it's like we're lining up with the Bond. So this time was supposed to be Bond. But I think there was some discussion of what do we do? And I think there's some big expo in over in London or England next week. And that's actually like it's going to be unveiled at that expo, which makes sense for Bond. So it's kind of all, but it seems like Venom is done. So now just the question is, from a production standpoint, where do you squeeze that in, or how do you squeeze that in? I don't know.
Maybe that's like the late December, early January release if they're going by the same cadence. But you're right. It does make sense. I mean, Venom sounded like that was probably the next game had they not skipped a release to do their catch up.
Yeah.
And I think they still wanted to get the Bond out for the anniversary, so they are sitting on Venom. And like I said, I think it'll probably come out early January, late December, because I believe that's when they typically release games.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is when are we? Did all the games just get pushed back? We're not just trying to squeeze them in here at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're just we'll see. So we're on Bond. So I hope it's movie clips. I hope it's some sort of like realistic drawing. Chris Franchi, it sounds like he kind of burned a bridge with Stern, but he still does the fireside chats with Gomez. I know he's still. This isn't a Kapow title because Kapow the logo isn't in the trailer. So as far as I know, this isn't a Kapow title. This is a Cornerstone. So I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance that Christopher
Yeah.
Franchi may be on this art.
I
Maybe.
thought that he said a bunch of his podcasts ago that he had repaired that riff with them and that he actually was working on something. Now, I don't think it was a big thing, but he said he was working on something, which kind of made it seem like it might be a topper or something that he had going in the works.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really talked about it. I suspect this. I bet they told him he could come back on some conditions, which was if there is even one hint of a leak, you're done.
I don't know.
Or something. I bet they got him on a short leash right now, as kind of like
Yeah.
they're kind of testing the water. They're trying to throw him a bone. And I bet he was hounding them like crazy to come back, come back, come back. And they probably threw him something to kind of get him going again. I have no clue, but that's just, I would think that's how they're probably proceeding, because he is a fantastic artist, and it would be a shame to have him kind of blacklisted from
Yeah.
their company, for forever.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, hopefully that riff has been healed somewhat, and maybe Gomez was the one to kind of do that with him if they're friends.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And originally, when when Rumors of Bond came out, a lot of people were saying it's a Kapow title, and I think they've only done two other ones, that being Beatles and Batman '66, which were both done by Franchi. The art was done by Franchi on both of those games as
Yeah.
well. So it would make sense to think that Franchi would do it if it was a Kapow. Now that we know it's not a Kapow, it may still be Franchi because those two Kapow games were also Gomez designs as well. And if this is rumored Gomez as well, you
There's
could still
a
see
chance, yeah.
Franchi doing, yeah.
And that's so that alone. So Gomez, let's just talk about that. Gomez as the designer, is that exciting? Is that like and then the second question is Gomez. Last thing Gomez did was Deadpool, and he hooked up with Tanyo on that, and that was Tanyo's first game that he coded, and I love it. I mean, I think the code is fantastic. So do you think they teamed up again on this? But remember the game that Gomez is working on was Steve Ritchie's game. So Steve Ritchie, the last game that he coded was Led Zeppelin, which was Timmy and Ray Day. So it's like Timmy and Ray Day's now been pulled into Rush. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. The questions with designer is it could be Tanyo would make sense. Dwight typically does a game a year. Dwight is a maybe. And then the last option is Lonnie Ropp, right? Not Lonnie Ropp. Is it Lonnie? Yeah, Lonnie.
Yeah,
Lonnie.
yeah.
Lonnie. The last game that Lonnie did was Stranger Things, and that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I want to throw out that Steve Ritchie typically gets all the big licenses, right? And 007 has got to be up there. And 007 is an old theme. I'm going to sound like a jerk, but Steve Ritchie's an old guy. He probably likes 007.
Yeah.
And I could totally see Steve Ritchie being on 007, Gomez picking it up, deciding to work with Tanyo. And I think it was in your interview, Joel, with Tanyo and Gomez, where Gomez said Tanyo was working on another Cornerstone title as the lead developer. It wouldn't surprise me if the all of them got together again to complete the work.
Well, yeah, because they typically do that, right? Like you were saying with Steve Ritchie on Led Zeppelin, it was Tim Sexton, but the game before before Led Zeppelin that Steve Ritchie did was Black Knight, and that was also Tim Sexton as well.
Yep.
So they kind of like to keep the and I believe well, I think Dwight does work for every designer though, right? He's always he's always, like you said, the guy. He's got a game a
Yeah.
year, and he's willing to work with any. And I think all the designers love Dwight, so that's why he's not typically pegged with a specific game designer. But
Okay.
My suspicion is too that they, much like Deadpool when George took over, they probably went right back to the right Whitewood again, because that last interview with George Gomez too, where he was kind of talking about design philosophies. I feel like when he was talking about how the days of designing in the Bally Williams era are done, and some of the gripes that some of the quote unquote older designers bring to the table don't fly anymore. I felt like he was talking directly at Steve Ritchie about a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff. And so my suspicion is they went, right, we're going to take this, we're scrapping whatever Steve had, because there's no way, just based on Deadpool too and the type of guy George is, he's not going to pick up where some guy left off. And they started over again, and they said, all right, we're assembling the team. Tanya, you're in, I'm in. They probably grabbed a couple more folks to help them out, and away they went. And they're gonna, I think they're gonna, with George, if it was any other designer, I'd be skeptical. But with George, at the helm, there's no doubt he's got some innovations and some interesting ideas, I'm sure, lurking that he's wanted to, bring out since Deadpool. And I bet it'll be a fantastic shooting game, and it's going to be a ton of fun, despite the fact that the theme for me doesn't really resonate. If anyone's going to sort of bring this to life, and do it justice, my money would be on Gomez for sure.
I'm with you.
Right there with you.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Gomez. I going back to Corvette, all of his layouts I feel like are fantastic. Even Avengers, I know it's broken and there's some issues with it, but man, when you can find a Hulk Avengers that actually plays well, that game shoots fantastic.
The older
I
Avengers.
love-
The older Avengers.
Yeah, sorry, the older.
Yep.
Definitely not.
the movie version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
KO is it
And-
going to cost
yeah.
more? Yes. The rumors are that it's going to cost more. Yes. I agree.
I mean, I'm sure there's people are going to buy it just because he's designed it. I mean, that's he's got a great following.
My homie Gomi, right?
Folks.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
I'm excited. I love Deadpool. I say it all the time. Dennis Creasel, I see him here in chat. He's just rolling his eyes every time I say it. But yeah, I'm excited. But yes, slap save Kid Christo. Exactly. Who's on code? Remember, we talked about this before. And I think, is it a 3 flipper game? Jeremy, I'm pretty sure Gomez, I think he said this in his fireside chat with Franchi, that I think he said his next game is a 3 flipper game. I think Gomez has said that publicly. So if this is it, yes. Now, the one thing we haven't talked about is Jack Danger. Jack Danger is at Stern. Technically, he could be the designer, but I would be surprised if he shows up at Stern first game out of the bat. They'd hand him Bond. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Yeah, and not on a kind of like a save type project where they had a license on the go. I mean, they needed a veteran guy like Gomez to step in with the skill to be able to crank this thing out in probably at less than a year.
Yeah. So it's got to be Gomez. It's got to be Gomez. But yes, the verdict's still out. A pretty good chance it's going to be either Lonnie or Tanyo. I'm good with either. I think I think they'll be fun. We're hoping for some sort of photorealistic art, kind of like a Chris Franchi, or kind of like how Mando's art came out. What's Mando's artist's name? I feel bad.
Randy Martinez.
Randy Martinez. Fantastic. Now Randy Martinez goes more comic booky, than Franchi does. But I know there are some really talented artists out there, so maybe this will be a new artist coming into it.
Johnny Crap, the guy who did Jurassic Park, would be a good fit.
Fellow Canadian from Montreal.
Yeah. So garbage person. No, no, Johnny Crap. I like his art, but I'll be very curious. I mean, this is very photorealistic. You don't want to mess this up. So let's go to the next. Here we are, just speculating all over the place. When it comes to mechs or code, are there? Because this is a spy themed pin. So I have two ideas, but I'll just say the one mech that I know isn't going to be in the game, but to me makes 100% sure, is what if instead of a shooter rod, they actually brought back the gun for the auto plunger. You know what I mean? Like kind of how Shadow had a gun, Batman Forever had a gun. I just feel like it's freaking Bond. Like if there was ever a time to take away to put that back in, this would be the game to
Well,
do it. That's my
yeah.
thought. It's not going to happen,
Well, it could,
but that
but
could be cool.
that would be the second Bond game that has a gun shooter.
Okay, so
GoldenEye, the shooter on GoldenEye was a gun handle as well.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
can
pulled
see
this
that
up.
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
this would be the game, but I understand it costs money. It would be, I don't know.
I don't know that it would cost more money because there's already a kicker in there anyway to kick the ball out for like ball saves and multi-balls and whatnot. So, I mean, you're eliminating the need to have that manual mech in there, and
Mhm.
you're just molding a gun with a button on it. So, I mean, it might be the
Maybe.
same cost. I mean,
Why not charge them more and then make them pay more for an add-on plunger? There's no reason to add it to the game initially. Like
I
money.
agree. Yeah, it'll be like an accessory.
Well,
that
it
they'll
would
sell.
have, but
like
they
a
would have
like
to.
a handle that you pull, right? Like a gun handle or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you pull the trigger and it shoots the ball. Like the gun would have to be designed around an auto plunger. Like it would have, so it's either you have a button that you press to shoot the ball, or I don't know. Stern last used the gun shooter on T3. I mean, it's been a while. It has been a while, but I just feel like this was a theme that in my mind it stood out. This would make sense. It's called okay, Dennis is correcting me. It's called a shooter rod. They could modify the plunge cover to make it look like a gun barrel. I'm not sure they're fond of limiting the skill shots via layout for an auto plunge. I mean, I get it. I was just trying to think. This would be the game. This would be the game to bring something like that back. My other thought was I was trying to think code. This is a spy team. Obviously, you're going to have different missions. You know that your modes are going to be missions doing this and this and this. But when I was thinking of a spy theme, to me, spies have to be silent. They have to be quiet. They have to be careful. So what I thought of was I love Soul Gym in Avengers. Now, Soul Gym, you're limited on the number of flips. So my thought was what if there was a mode that you were limited on the number of switch hits? So you have to accomplish a certain series of shots within a certain number of switch hits, because every time you're hitting the slings, you're making noise. Every time you're hitting the pop bumpers, you're making noise. Every time you're missing your shot, you're making noise. So it's like, what if they had a mode which was you have to be stealthy, you have to be precise, you have to be sneaky. And so you have a certain number of switch hits. If you complete the mode under that number, you pass. Otherwise, you hit your number, you're too loud, you failed. It was a thought. Ray Day, I don't know if any of you guys are in chat. Tell me I'm a genius. Write it down. Call up the coder and tell him to put it in the game. Just throw up my initials as the default. That's fine. You can have it. I'm just.
I had a similar sort of thought, and this was what's thought back to like the Jurassic Park truck. Where you hit the ball and it goes around the thing. And I think somebody posted, or I saw this somewhere, but it made sense where it's one of Bond's famous cars on that sort of similar mech. And one of the modes would be a car chase or something, right?
Yeah.
And you got to go left to chase the guy. So you got to hit the ball and spin the car around so it's facing the right way and go back and forth and kind of, go left and right and try and chase down the spy or whoever you're chasing down. So I think that there should at least be a Bond car or something in the game, like a physical toy. That would be really nice to see. Yeah.
I want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to agree with you that I agree a car chase has to happen. There's got to be a car chase. And I agree, even like Turtles, there's a mode where you have to shoot the left side of the playfield, then you shoot the right. Or I mean, like Deadpool, you're following the shark. There's going to be a car chase in some way where you're going to have, shots to shoot. And if you hit the wrong one, it slows you. There's got to be something like that. But go ahead, George.
So in Mandalorian, there is like a level up system where you go to the foundry and you can buy upgrades, and those upgrades impact the game. I imagine they're going to tie that into gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a lot of Bond films, but I do know the idea of Q or G or whoever it is that
M.
Like every M does that you like do a mission, and in prep for the mission you get introduced with a pen that explodes when you click it 4 times in a row or something like that. I imagine they would do something really similar where you can buy gadgets that somehow interact with the game, kind of like the foundry.
How did gadgets work in Batman?
It was just a gadget. It spotted shots. You spelt
Yeah.
gadget on the side with the stand-up targets,
Okay.
and then it awarded you button presses, which just spotted you mode shots. But I do like the idea George is saying, like Mandalorian, where you're buying like a flamethrower or
Right.
similar type items, right?
Sure.
Or a smoke screen for your car or whatever it is to help you get through the car chase or something like that. Yeah,
I
that
Mhm.
would
would
be great.
I would love it because I see Dennis is talking about watches. I know this is not going to happen because I'm thinking N64 James Bond, but I would love that if you hold in the flipper buttons to like see your status. I would love to see like the watch band come up like you're looking at your watch for a status, just like the pause menu on GoldenEye. I mean, it won't happen. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just shooting gold here, and I know it's not. None of this is going to happen. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Craig, you have any thoughts
Well, it'd
here
be
on what you'd
interesting
put in
to
a
see.
Bond pin?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they could get like an Aston Martin license where they could throw in an Aston Martin car there, or have something where you're shooting the ball into a car and it gets ejected, the ball gets ejected from the car in some way. But something with a car in it, just because those films, seeing what kind of car he was driving was always one of the main features of all those films.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, and seeing what villains they throw at it as well. I suspect it could be a mashup as well, where they have a Connery Bond, but then throw a number of villains in it and sort of create their own little universe of a bunch of movies coming together
yep.
with the same Bond.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
yeah, Pink Ninja Man's asking that. Do you think it'll be a specific film? Sure. If they only get one film, then we're only gonna have one villain. We're gonna be working our way through that. But if they focus on Sean Connery, he has what 4 or 5 films.
Yeah.
Then that now we're looking more like Batman '66,
Well,
where you have minor
I think it
villains,
was more
major
than that
villains.
too.
You know,
Yeah, that would make more sense too. It would be like I don't think there would be enough material in one movie to create like an entire world for Bond. It would have to be an accumulation of the movies, and I could see it maybe not even being themed after a movie and just having clips of the bad guys in all the movies, and you're battling them or chasing them down.
Okay, there.
sure, 7. I mean, you
Yeah,
look at
exactly.
Godzilla. Like Godzilla has what 10 plus. I mean, it's quite a lot of movies they're pulling clips from,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's not named after any
yeah.
of the movies, anything. It's just Godzilla, right? So it could be
Well,
just 007 or
true. This will be an interesting like when I think of James Bond, I think of gadgets, I think of car scenes, I think of,
Mhm.
stealthy missions or missions, and then I think of women. So it's like
yeah.
how much realistically do you think we're going to bring that into this game? There's not going to be on a I hope there's not a mission of like seduction. Like can you
That's your
shoot
final
these
wizard
shots to
mode.
seduce
Yeah.
You
seduce
get the
her?
woman
Yeah.
at the final wizard
Yeah,
mode.
yeah, yeah.
You win. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I would assume there's plenty of funny moments on that he could use, when you tilt or when you lose your ball or something. Some of the rejection clips that when women are
Yes.
shooting James Bond down, they got to bring it
Yep.
in as a from a comical standpoint, right?
Yeah, from a campy point of view.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
you guys are getting me excited for this. I didn't
yeah.
think I wanted one, and now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking of all the things that could be in the game, and now I'm
I mean,
having
it could.
second thoughts.
That's the thing. I'm none of these movies. I just these movies are way old for me. Not no. I was just this was previous like and they were the way they were rated. I mean, I wasn't going to be able to watch them as a kid, right? So it's like by the time I was old enough to actually watch Bond movies, now we're in the Pierce Brosnan age, Daniel Craig age. I mean, it's like this is, and that's when they took the action part of the movie way more seriously. So I
Mhm.
think the way you make this fun is you got to go campy. You got to go
Yeah,
campier. This has to be more like Batman '66 or Elvira, pulling in fun clips. Maybe there's some serious moments, car chases or missions, the way they do it on where things get a little more risky, on shots or failing, where the adrenaline's there. It's just that's the way they got to go. But I absolutely. I mean, this is still. It's a fun theme. It's spies are fun, and I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential here.
It'll
Uh,
be interesting to see if they use, if they got Connery to do it, if they can use some voice clips from him, or if they'll have someone like an English actor, like an
Yeah.
M or something like that, who's like calling out the jackpots and stuff like that, you know?
Well,
Well, who was it? John Cleese was one of them. I don't know if he was the
he
one with
was
Sean Connery
no, it
or
was
if he
somebody
was with
else.
Roger. I think it was Roger
Yeah.
Moore. John Cleese was involved in that. But I mean, there's so many Sean Connery impersonators. You'll
Yes,
Yeah.
probably
exactly.
find somebody to impersonate Sean Connery's
Well,
voice for sure.
I know, like in
Yeah.
Hobbit, the all the call outs are done by Gandalf, but it's a Gandalf impersonator. I mean,
Which
it's
I was
killer.
shocked
It's
about.
so good. So
It's
it's
so good.
yeah, Sean Connery. There's a
I always
lot of
thought it
Sean
was
Connery impersonators out
yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah. I always thought it was him. I was like, get out of here. That's an impersonator.
it's really good. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, these are the rumors. Sean Connery. They're focusing on Sean Connery, but if we want to go bigger, if they were able to do multiple Bonds, I think I don't think there's any way that you could do all of them because I just don't know how you would mix in clips from like Casino Royale and like all the new Daniel Craig movies have such a different tone than these older ones, and I just feel like trying to mishmash those. I just don't know how you
Yeah.
do it from a creative
Well, even
standpoint.
even the definition and quality of the video too would really make a big difference too, right? Because you're looking at the
Yeah,
older '60s quality of the film versus like 2020 or whatever. It would definitely look a little odd.
yeah. Game time. How you doing, Rod Dog? Good seeing you, buddy. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, chat. Chat's going, chat's kind of managing themselves right now, so I appreciate that. I don't know. This is just nothing but speculation. Like I said earlier, I tried to get David Dennis on here. He's a huge James Bond fan, and he'd probably be telling us how dumb we are because he's, he would defend X, Y, and Z. I don't really know, but even if I just look at this as a spy theme game that George Gomez is designing, whether it's Tanya or Lonnie on code, if they actually get movie clips and a decent voice actor and some good art, I mean, all the pieces are here to be a fun game. There's no denying that.
I'm really concerned about the voice actor. I don't know why Stern has missed on Jurassic Park and Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Yeah.
those were such awful misses. Like even a simple Australian accent, they couldn't get someone to pull off well. So I'm just, if they end up getting voice actors, I think they would have to pull from some new people in order to achieve it,
Mhm.
and that's a big concern I would have about it.
Well, luckily it's one like you could have the majority of the call outs be done by one actor. So if they really did invest in a good Sean Connery actor, he could do the majority of it. And then a lot of the side characters are going to be women. So, I mean, you could probably I think those would be good, right? Like or I don't know if Bond girls have I don't know if there'll be people that'll be pissed off like, well, that's not actually her voice or if it'll be recognizable. I
Mhm.
don't know, but in a perfect world, you just have movie clips, so we can hear the movie clips in the right, and then when you need somebody to say shoot the scoop, it's it's Sean. Well, hopefully it's not too good of a Sean Connery, or we may not be able to
Shoot the scopes.
yeah, we may not be able to understand him. So we'll see, but I don't know, chat or anybody else. Does anybody else have? I just every time, guys, it's 11 o'clock. Who just showed up in chat? Pinmonk, and so we all know what time it is. We all know what time it is. It's time to run that commercial. But does anybody else have chat or anybody have any other questions? Saul Hudson, I see. Do we think it's possibly Franchi? Maybe. We hope. I mean, I think we'd all be on board if it is Franchi, but I also know he kind of burned
Mhm.
a bridge there, so I don't know.
I want to throw out with Franchi how unlikely that seems. Stern is a
Yeah.
business. Like they are a real business,
Yeah.
and they work with whomever is going to make them money. And for Stern to get into a situation where they literally take a someone as fantastic and talented as Franchi and say we're not working with you again, that
Mhm.
Chris has to have messed up so bad.
Yeah.
I feel like to get into that kind of situation because he makes money. That's how bad of a situation he's in. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't work with him again.
Good point. Matt Fruin, there's a UK distributor says it will probably have a Stranger Things projector. Interesting.
I
I
heard
don't.
that too.
You did hear
Yes.
that, really?
I did hear that. Yes, I did hear that there was a. I heard a couple things. Now Stern was very good this time around at keeping a lot of things hush hush. But I did hear about a projector, and I also heard that there was going to possibly be a fourth version of the game. a 60th anniversary version of the game that does have all the bonds in it, that is a completely different game. Now, this is again complete speculation,
Yeah.
but I heard somebody, I don't know where I saw it. Maybe it was a podcaster that we won't really talk about who mentioned it, but I did see that somewhere that there is the talk of a fourth version of the game.
Well, Pinmonk's saying that premium LE, super LE anniversary. I mean, I know with Kapow titles they've done something like that, skipped a pro, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, luckily it's Wednesday, and I'm hoping we get a trailer on Friday. So hopefully we only have 2 more days of waiting to see what's going on. But I don't care. I mean, I'm excited one way or the other. I do need to give a shout out to Game Time. He said this joke twice. I'll take my drink I'll take my drink Kragan, not Jold. I don't know. It's just, so there we go. We'll take that. But
Classic.
Yeah.
Well, there has to be a joke in the game somewhere. If you tilt the game or something, he's going to say "shaken, not stirred."
Yeah, that would be really good.
Right?
I didn't like the shaken soon. I thought that was a little bit of a stretch. Shaken soon, but yeah, Pinmonk, don't you have a buddy with a hookup? No, I've not told anything. This is so Mike saying that this anniversary, that's the first time I've heard it, and then this idea of a projector. I like the implementation of the projector in Stranger Things. I think that's really cool. The fact I'm all about the change state, anything that can make the pinball play field look differently. George, did you ever have a premium Stranger Things? So you've never had the projector live?
Yeah, thanks for pointing out that out. That's great.
No, that to me, I loved Stranger Things Pro, but I'm at a point where if I was to own one, I'd feel like you'd have to go premium.
Oh yeah, no. I would love to get a premium, and I wish I could afford an LE, but those are getting close to 20K right now.
I know that's Frisco pinball money right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, chat, keep it going. Keep the conversation going. We're going to do the sponsor video, but what are we going to do right after that? I'll give you a glimpse here. I straight up ripped off Zach and Greg with this or that. So they did a this or that video, and it was fantastic. And so the four of us are going to work our way through and talk through some of those this or that that conversation on what basically how we would answer all those questions. So sorry, Pinmonk, but we're going to do the sponsorship video here real quick. So stick with us. It's like 3 minutes. Grab a drink, go to the bathroom, or just watch these amazing sponsors, and we will be right back. So here we go.
Your pinball machine deserves the best. At Comet Pinball, you'll find the best variety of LED products with the best quality LEDs, and most importantly, at the best price. Your collection is begging for an upgrade. Order yours now at cometpinball.com.
Scorbit is excited to announce Achievements, the latest in an amazing series of features available to thousands of connected pinball machines around the world. Achievements are part of Scorbit's free open platform. Scorbit already supports hundreds of pinball machines from the 1970s to today. Give your games new life by connecting them to the Scorbit platform and the universe of applications for pinball machines.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, we're back. We're having a lively conversation during the break, but yes. So yes, I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy the sponsors. So that's our ad video. Hopefully, you can support all 8 of those. So once again, Comet Pinball, all your LED needs, Measle Mods, some awesome mods for modern and older games, Scorebit to get your game on internet, Stern Pinball. Can't wait for your next game to come out. Speaker Light Kit, you'll see them behind me here shortly. Pinball photos, some amazing art to hang up in your game room. Zach and Nicole flipping out. If you want anything new, used, or accessory, top, or any of that, reach out to Zach. And last but not least, Pinmonk here in chat, he loves the video. He loves that ad video. I think he comes on purposely just to see the ad video because it always seems like once I see his name, it's 11 o'clock and he it's time to run it. But he also makes really good mods, so check him out. And once again, here's the TPN streamers. So we try to provide you as much content as we can as we go on. So yeah. But yeah, well, real quick things Mike did want to point out. GoldenEye, he owned one in the past, and apparently you said it was the best jump ramp in pinball.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. It's better than Toy Story. It's better than No Good Gophers. To me, the best jump ramp shot is GoldenEye. There's a little ramp that lifts up in the middle of the play field, shoots up into a satellite dish with a magnet in it. For super jackpots, for I think there's a couple modes that it works for as well. It's good.
we should see.
It's
Yeah.
one of the best shots in pinball, I think.
That's awesome.
Oh, cool. Rachel, I hope the art is tasteful. I agree. I mean, I think it would be a huge miss on Stern if they did make the art raunchy in any. I mean, I don't know. Now, whether or not they did that, like if there's this rumored anniversary edition or LE edition, which they just assume are always going to be in somebody's house, then maybe I could see it. But I would hope the pro or premium. Yeah, if Franchi's doing it, it'll be fantastic. Yeah, we'll see. We'll just have to see. Hopefully 2 days. Hopefully 2 days. We'll see something on Friday. But all right, so we are going to move on to our next topic here, or essentially game. And like I said before the break, this is a straight up ripoff from Zach and Greg at Straight Down the Middle. I don't feel too bad. They've played every game that we've played on the Pinball Show afterwards. So we're going to work our way through here. Definitely check out this video if you want to hear Zach or Greg's opinions on these. But this is a segment that they do very well on Straight Down the Middle, which is this or that. So they present 2 games or potentially a game plus money or a combo game. So we're going to work our way through that between the 4 of us. So absolutely chat, share your answers. That's what we're here for. That's the whole point of this. And let's have a good time tonight playing this. So we're going to start off, I don't know, relatively new. But yeah, pretty easy here. Guns N' Roses LE, Toy Story LE. We're going to work our way through. Mike, I know you've owned Guns N' Roses. You haven't owned Toy Story. So what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I have owned Guns N' Roses. I was not the biggest fan of the game. I did not have it very long. It only lasted a few months in the bunker. And I don't know Toy Story. I've only seen it played. I've watched your stream of it. I've watched a few others. That being said, I would go with Toy Story. I think it just looks like it's more fun. I don't care if it's easier. I don't care if it's, easy to get to the wizard mode, all that sort of stuff. It looks like a fun shooter.
Yeah.
And I think I would have more fun with it, and my family would have more fun with it. So Toy Story 4, hands down.
Man, chat, this is what I wanted to see. Strong opinions. So Pinmonk, GNR by a mile. People are saying, Toy Story all day, and I love GNR. Yeah, this is what we're saying. So, Craig, thoughts? Have you had a chance? You haven't had a chance to play either, probably.
I've played GNR. I've not played Toy Story yet. I had a chance to play it at the distributors, and I was so damn excited to get my Godzilla. I was like, I'm not waiting around to play this thing.
Yeah.
But I would still go Toy Story. Just the theme for me, I like the theme better. I think Pat Lawler as a designer, I think his games are will last the test of time a little bit longer. And despite the fact that I think theme-wise they hit a home run with GNR, there's no doubt. I just think that there's a few design issues there that I still think, and code issues that I still think are, a a little lacking. It's not a bad game by any stretch, but for me, I think Toy Story theme wise just resonates a little more. And to Mike's point too, I think it would be, you know, a home run with the family. If this game were $3,000 cheaper, I would be seriously considering it, I'd
Toy
say.
Story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if it's just a little too expensive, and you know, good on them. They're you know, they made their money and they did what they needed to do, you know, from a business standpoint. But it's too bad that more people, you know, didn't put this on their bucket list to own
Yeah.
right away. Because I do think they've, you know, it's a fine game. It's just that it's a shame more people aren't going to be able to own and enjoy it, you know, just because of the price.
The used market of Toy Stories is coming down. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I saw
you never know.
somebody was selling. So remember, the CE is $2,500 more than, at least $3,500 more than the LE, and somebody was selling their $2,000 deposit, $2,500 deposit for $500. So you could save $2,000. So you could get the CE for $13,500 if you did that deal, which is, I mean, it.
Wait, s- uh, so you can buy a CE used
Not
right
used.
now,
You can
or
get.
well, no, sorry, not used. I guess secondhand market, I suppose. When they're probably going to be available from distributors, brand new.
Yeah, but brand new is 15 something.
Wow.
So basically, the guy was
Already.
Oh, it's
selling
like a
his
scalp
deposit spot.
price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
selling his deposit spot. But George, what are your thoughts?
I would go Toy Story 4 for two reasons. One, I can't stand Guns N' Roses. Like, I think the game, and I mean the
Yeah.
music. The game actually plays really well, and I love the integration. The artwork is super cool. I don't like the fact that all the video is of the band relatively recently. It would be way cooler if you could see video from the, I guess, I don't even know how far back Guns N' Roses go, but I'm assuming the 70s and 80s and maybe 90s or something. I don't know. But also because I'm assuming at some point in the very near future here, the coder whose name I can never remember, Joe Katz.
Joe Katz. Yep.
Okay. Joe Katz, I imagine, is going to give us a Toy Story 4 2.0 in the same way he gave us Willy Wonka. And when that comes through, I imagine it will be just as massive of an improvement that continues to offer up some really easy goals and achievable things for the average person, while satisfying the needs of players like the majority of us, I think, who all get to the wizard mode except Joel.
No, I've been to the wizard mode. I've been to the
Oh,
wizard mode.
you got there?
Yes,
Oh.
I talked about it. I talked about it in quite detail on the latest Triple Drain, the latest Triple Drain episode, because it was a frustrating and it was quite an experience. But
question before you go on here.
Yeah.
Which may
Yes,
change my
glass was
answer.
on. Yeah.
Am I paying the extra for the Toy Story?
No, it was a flat.
Flat, straight up. Okay,
trade,
then
which
my answer stays the same.
Which Guns N' Roses, like flipping out has Guns N' Roses in stock right now. You want to buy one in stock, ready to go. But I do think Toy Story, at least the direction we're going right now, the used market may actually bring those below MSRP at some point. So personally, I've had both in my collection. What I will say is, I enjoy the shots on Toy Story more. I enjoy the theme on Toy Story more. I will say I've definitely had. GNR was more adrenaline pumping. Like GNR cashing out a huge jackpot was a super satisfying feeling. I do miss that. I do miss that ride that it would take you on. But I am also going to go Toy Story 4, and the reason being the game's gone, and my friends and family genuinely are like, where to go? Like, they miss it. It was a fun game to have. It was enjoyable. And I agree with George. I think there's a chance that Joe Katz down the road may do a massive or potential code update here to give us more. So I think I have to go Toy Story 4, but I am surprised how much I am missing GNR. So Toy Story, no, precision flippers were not on the game. By the way, I got my shipment of all my precision flippers stuff. I'm installing these bad boys on Deadpool tonight. Look at those flippers. Look at that. It's whole. It's a hollow inside. How crazy is that? I'm excited. Oh, George has his too.
George has them too.
Ooh.
He sent me
Dueling flippers.
he sent me some of the colored ones too, just to take some pictures for him. So they're
We're all
pretty.
buying
they're pretty
training
awesome.
wheels.
I know.
Oh, boy.
All right, so there we go. Thank you, Zach and Greg, for that question. Here we go, number 2. So we're still at GNR or Rush Premium. Is that a premium? No, that's the LE. GNR or Rush LE. I'm pretty confident I know the answer to all three of you. So we could go pretty quick, but Mike, go for it.
Okay, well, I have a Rush Pro here, and it's hands down a Rush LE. I mean, Rush, I actually like Guns N' Roses as a band better than I like Rush. But I mean, there's the Canadian in me, and the game is just far superior.
Yep.
The code is way better. I think there's more shots in Rush LE. I think the music, it just suits pinball even more than Guns N' Roses does too. So it's Rush LE.
It's really good. Pinmonk, I'm assuming, I know Pinmonk is a huge GNR fan. So Pinmonk, are you picking GNR still on this? I'm curious what your thoughts are. But Craig, I think I know your answer.
It's got to be Rush.
Greg, you're on mute.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
oh my God. Am I on mute?
No, you're good now.
Hold on.
You're good now.
No,
Am I good?
Of course, I'm no dummy. That's Pinmonk's answer. All right, Craig, you're Rush LE.
Yeah, I just think for all the things that I believe GNR is lacking, Rush makes up for it in its design and code implementation, and I prefer the Rush music over GNR. That's just my personal taste on the theme. And I think Borg did a fantastic job with his theme integration as well on Rush.
Yeah.
The art, on the playfield, I'm still, in terms of the band, I thought that was the most controversial part of that art package, and I'm still mixed on it myself. I've seen it in person, and I do think it looks better in person, as most art does. But I would say if I had to change anything about that Rush game, it would be the way the band is represented on it.
Sure. Okay.
But it's still a fantastic game, and I think they've got a classic there in that game for a rock pin for sure.
All right. And George, you, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I have a Rush LE.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go Rush LE. Comparing music alone, like you can listen to Rush and not feel like you have to turn it off. Like you can passively enjoy Rush, but the lead singer of GNR is just, there's only so much of his ridiculously high-pitched voice I feel like you can take.
Tell us how much you love GNR, George.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'm sorry.
I would say this is actually harder for me, and it's just I do think the Expression Light Kit. I haven't experienced the Expression Light Kit for Rush, but I know how much that changed the game with Led Zeppelin. So I think the Light Show will be similar. I still think the Light Show is probably better with GNR, but it would be definitely a step up. I think I would enjoy the layout of GNR more, or sorry, of Rush more. And I know the code, it is more unique with modes and I don't know. But GNR is much more multi-ball heavy. With that said, I did really enjoy GNR. I did. It didn't bother me as much. So this is harder. This would be a harder decision for me. So part of me, I think I personally might. I know my friends and family aren't going to play either. So I think I might actually go GNR here. And I'm going to go to the next slide very quickly before the three of you guys tell me how dumb I am. But Pinmonk's smiling in his chair, hopefully. So I might actually go GNR. I might go GNR.
Expression lighting's better than the light rails. That's my controversial take.
Yeah, nope. Joel stepped out the fence for that one. No, I mean, yes, it would be really interesting. I would love to see one side by side because I understand the Hot Wheels are up in your face, but the Expression lighting, I really enjoyed the Expression lighting.
Yeah,
really.
It gives the game a really nice glow without, blinding your eyes. And I just think it's perfect. They did it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. And I would love. My only frustration with it is why isn't it in every game? Like, put him in every game. So Godzilla, could you imagine Godzilla with the Expression lighting kit? With the I mean,
so good.
Oh my God.
Even to have the option of putting it in,
I
like
know.
they don't have to include it, but
I
just
know.
even have. I mean, and that's one of the accessories too that's been frustrating, and I'm sure for a lot of people is not being able to get that expression lighting kit for those Rush premiums at the moment.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know why that's not a standard feature on those premium LEs now for Stern.
Yeah. Yeah. Just call me Jub Jub. What a great name on Twitch. Just call me Jub Jub. Wait, did he just complain about GNR having high pitched voices? Rush sounds like a squeezing balloon.
For some reason, it's more passive and enjoyable. It's less grating. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really do apologize to GNR fans. I'm not.
Yeah. What a great name. All right. So this is an easy one. I mean, do we really even need to discuss it here? This was Toy Story LE. So the $12,500 game versus a $9,000 game, Godzilla Premium. The question doesn't include money, but even if it, it doesn't need to include money. I know I'm still going Godzilla.
Oh yeah, it's Godzilla all day. And if money's involved, that's just a bonus. I'll throw in another System 11 game put beside it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the right answer is I'll take Toy Story, sell it, buy Godzilla Premium, and then pocket the money. Is that the right answer?
Go.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so that was an easy one. Now, what's funny is Zach didn't edit some of the pictures of pinball machines on some of these, so we're gonna get some real interesting screenshots of the two of their faces. Just heads up. This is a really interesting one. This is a very interesting one here. So, Godzilla Premium plus cash, or Turtles Pro and Rush Pro. So Turtles Pro and Rush Pro, you're looking at what, 13 grand roughly there. So Godzilla plus cash, so it'd be Godzilla Premium plus 3-ish grand, maybe 4-ish grand.
I think actually watching the video, they said a little bit of cash. Like it wasn't an equivalent
equal
of cash. Yeah.
Okay, so
probably what, like $1,500 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a grand or 1,500. Yeah.
The goal is obviously not to pick it solely for the cash, right? I mean, that's
exactly. Yeah.
So one game plus a little bit of money in your pocket, or you go two games: Rush Pro, Turtles Pro. What are you thinking, Mike?
Okay, so you went next level last time and bought the Toy Story, sold it, and then bought your Godzilla Premium and had cash left over. So I'm going with the TMNT Pro and the Rush Pro.
And then you're selling one.
And I'm gonna learn TMT. I'm gonna keep TMNT for like a month.
Okay.
I'm gonna learn the game, and then I'm selling it, and I'm buying a Godzilla Pro.
That's okay. I mean, I appreciate your honesty. Appreciate your honesty there. Yeah. Pinball Profile, which is Jeff Teolis. Jeff, I'm glad you're here. So you couldn't pay me to take Turtles. I think Jeff, you've just been burned by Turtles too many times in a competition. That's my guess. That's my guess. Craig, what are your thoughts, man?
I think if you were ever going to survive on one pinball machine in your collection, it would be Godzilla.
Oh yes,
that would be that would be my take. So I would do the Godzilla with the cash all day long on that one.
Yeah,
because I would end up smashing one like that TMNT for sure, because it is extremely frustrating. So I'd be down one game right there.
I know. Well, I'm curious here. George loves Turtles and he loves Rush. And George, you've said before you like Rush more than Godzilla.
Yeah. So I'm TMNT Pro and Rush for a few different reasons, and in the same way that I think a lot of people grew up with GNR. And it holds a special spot for them. I completely understand. I'm there with TMNT. Like one of the first movies I remember ever going to go see was the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action film. Watched all the cartoons. I have the comic books. I'm a huge fan, and I've owned TMNT twice. I had the Pro, and I got frustrated with it and got rid of it, picked up the Premium, and fell in love with the game. And I'm still chasing Cowabunga. Final Battle at this point is pretty straightforward, but Cowabunga is so close. I don't know if I'll keep it after hitting Cowabunga, but there's a part of me, especially with the cool topper, that I enjoy the game. And I'm really, really hoping that we're going to get an updated rule set from
Dwight.
Dwight at some point that balances out the scoring. The problem right now on TMNT is that there's no reason really to play through modes in the game if you're playing competitively for score. It's all about getting into a multi-ball, initiating your 2x, and just working on your super jackpots. So it's an unbalanced game right now. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of nostalgia for me in TMNT Pro, which is why I choose that. And Rush is fantastic. I actually want a Rush Pro. So I'm probably dropping my LE at some point. It's, for lack of a better way of saying it, too much game for me.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Rush, but I love the game. I'm not a fan of the band Rush, although I don't dislike it. Tom Sawyer is maybe one of my favorite songs, which is kind of what got me going that direction in the first place. But I'm not a huge fan of the band. And I've had the opportunity to play a Rush Pro, and I do think it plays a bit more brutal and it plays more fun,
Yeah.
a little bit tougher. And I think I'm good not to own the LE, trade down and do something exactly like what we have here, where pick up another game in between. And I do really like Godzilla, so this isn't a knock on Godzilla. I would just 2 games over one game.
Yeah. So you're telling me, you can see here, I always try to keep it out of frame, but I don't have the turtle stopper. You're telling me I need to. It's cool.
That turtle stopper is so cool. It
God.
really it's a little eyeball on top of the
It's the Technodrome. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that just moves around. It's so cool.
It's just
And
pricey.
Pinball Profile, I can hope we get an updated rule set at some point.
Yeah.
They're both challenging games too, right? So I prefer having a challenging
Dude,
game.
Rush kicked my butt when I owned it.
So, yeah, exactly.
Kicked my butt.
Exactly.
This is tough. This is really tough for me, and it really comes down to, like, do I have additional games? Because if I already have additional games, I'm going Godzilla Premium. But if I don't, if you have no collection and it's either or, I like having 2 games. I like the what am I saying? Variety. I was trying to mix variety and priority. Priority? What the heck was that? So I enjoy that. So I still think, though, I'm probably going to lean towards Godzilla. I really enjoy Turtles, but Rush Pro just destroyed me. It kicked my butt. This would be a lot more challenging if it was like Turtles in Deadpool or Turtles and even Mando. You just something else like that. I just know when Rush Pro was here, my friends and family did not touch it. There was nothing. There was no mech. There was nothing exciting for them to play. So that combo is just not one that's super appealing to me. But this is a good one. This is a good question. All right, so more Rush. Rush Premium, or Cactus Canyon, the remake with money. To make up the difference. I don't know. Is that an SE? Any idea what the price difference there? I mean, I was the one that put this guy. Probably.
Well, there's no topper, so I'm going to assume it's an SE.
So what's a Rush?
SE is 8K.
8K and a Rush Premium's 9 something. So you're looking at like $1,000. So for your collection, what are we thinking? What are we thinking here? Kirk Hobbs, CC, no question. No question. So we're getting some Sterling, Cactus Canyon for sure. We kept going with Mike. Let's go Craig first on this one.
I think I got to stay with Rush. I know that's maybe a boring answer, but I will say that the Cactus Canyon is probably my favorite remake they've done so far, and I think they've done a fantastic job with it. I think, although a lot of people sort of poo-pooed the layout, and said it was a bit boring, I think the reality is it's a very fun game to shoot, and I think a lot of people have been pleasantly surprised by it once they get in front of it. And I think for a retro Bally Williams feel, you can't really go wrong with it. But I'd still have to lean towards Rush because it is, I love the music. I think Borg really did it justice, and I just think overall, for me, I would be more entertained, I think, with Rush over the long haul versus the Cactus Canyon.
Sure.
But I do think the Cactus Canyon for the average player is going to be more appealing and attractive. When you first step up to it, there's no doubt there's some great mechs in it. It's campy. I think if you're not a pinball player, you're going to be more attracted to the Cactus Canyon probably. Because let's face it, Rush isn't for everybody. It's pretty specific, and I think my feeling is Cactus Canyon would just appeal to a broader group of people. So if you were just trying to have one in your home for like entertainment for guests and family and stuff, I think they gravitate toward Cactus Canyon all day long. Just like you said, Joel.
Yeah, George, what are you thinking?
Cactus Canyon.
Oh,
we've got Lyman Code coming up. at some point with Josh Sharp. And with that updated rule set, I love the theme. I love playing it. The layout is super fun. On top of that, I really, as I mentioned earlier on Rush, I think the Pro plays better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't like the look of the premium Rush on top
Okay.
of everything else. So I'd go Cache and Cactus Canyon.
Cool. Yeah, and Wind Raider actually had a really maybe we'll do that after this, but I like this idea of Cactus Canyon LE with Cache or Toy Story 4 LE. Which one? Because they're both simpler rule sets with more user friendly. I don't know. So be thinking about that in the back of your head. So we'll answer that right after this. But my opinion, I would go Cactus Canyon. And I just, once again, I think, especially with that idea of lineman code potentially giving us more depth or more something for advanced players to gravitate towards. Not saying that Cactus Canyon is a simple or basic game by any means, but I know my friends and family would really enjoy Cactus Canyon. We had a chance to borrow one for a day at Texas Pinball Festival, and we streamed it thanks to George and his setup, and we had a lot of fun. That game shoots really, really well. So I think I would go Cactus Canyon. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm actually leaning towards Cactus Canyon myself too, and I
Okay.
think it's like almost exactly the same reasons George had pointed out. I mean, you're going to have basically two versions of the game to play. You're going to have the original code, and then you're going to have the new code with Josh. I've played the premium of Rush, and I'm actually not that big a fan of it. I do prefer the Pro. It is more challenging. There's not a lot of big difference in the game, and the difference in the game for me is not as good as what I like in the Pro. And I also do not like the artwork on the premium.
Okay.
So I can use that extra money to buy the new code for Cactus
There you go.
Canyon,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe get a topper if I can find one on the on the
Sure.
market somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's just you're getting two versions of the game. I would get, and I do want a Cactus Canyon too. So
Nate,
if it was a Rush Pro, that would be a different story. I would probably lean towards the Rush Pro, but
Okay. So it'd almost have to be Rush Pro plus money or a Cactus Canyon SE is what it would be.
yeah, because I think the Cactus Canyon's a little.
You said
more
8.5?
than
Is that what you
So
said?
you'd probably be looking at like 1,000 on top of the Rush, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd go with Rush Pro there, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the premium.
So with that same logic, maybe we would. So Wind Raider Joe up there had said, let's just go ahead and do a Cactus Canyon LE versus Toy Story 4. Cactus Canyon LE versus Toy Story 4. George, you want to go first on that one?
Cactus Canyon.
Why?
I'm just not I would take Toy Story over GNR, but there isn't much I wouldn't take over GNR.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But Toy Story, I unfortunately have not had the opportunity to play it, despite heading out to Denver shortly after its release to go play it. I ended up going to the wrong location because there's 3 different 1-ups out there, and I heard it was that 1-up, but didn't go to the right one. So I'd love to get hands-on with it, but the theme doesn't do a ton for me. As much as I like Forky, I'm not overall a massive fan of Toy Story. And I like oh my gosh, I can't think of the designer's name right now.
Lawler?
Yeah, I typically enjoy somewhat Lawler games, but they're like slow moving, or I can't think of the right verb to describe it, but like lazy. The lackadaisical, I guess, like it
Okay.
you're not being pushed to do things fast or yeah. Anyway, all of that said, I would still take Cactus Canyon.
Boring. Apparently, boring's the word you're looking for, according to
There you go.
Pinball.
Boring. Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah. There you go. They're kind of boring.
Yeah. Everything you just said, the more I think about it, the biggest draw that I have to Toy Story 4 is the theme. But I think Cactus Canyon, especially Cactus Canyon LE, it's a fun theme, and I think that's still a theme. Sure, it's not Toy Story 4 recognizable, but it's a cowboy. You got Bart right there in the middle to shoot. So I think I'm with you. Yeah. I think
awesome.
I think I'm with you. I would go Cactus Canyon LE. Mike?
I'm going Cactus Canyon LE too. I have a nostalgia for these older Bolly Williams games. I've owned a lot of them over the years, and that is like those are my favorite genre of games, I guess. is those Bolly Williams DMD games. So I am very nostalgic for it, and I want that topper. If you were getting a topper with
Yeah.
it, you know,
Sure.
I just think you're getting the whole package.
But
So
you know,
it's definitely
Mike, you
Cactus
get
Canyon.
one topper. You're gonna start. It's gonna be a problem. Yeah.
Then it would look out of place, and I'd have to buy more.
I know. You'd have to get that Black Knight topper, man. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd have to
Yeah.
sell a game for that, but
Yeah. Craig, what do you think, bud?
I forgot the Lyman Sheets angle with that with Cactus Canyon, and I do think that, he was or is considered one of the greatest coders of pinball, and I think, it'll be interesting to see what he was able to envision with that game and see if he can bring a new dimension to a game that some people had sort of written off, I
Sure.
think, code-wise.
Mhm.
And it'll be a really interesting test to see if code can make a difference on a game where people thought the layout was maybe too simplistic or too easy. So I'll be fascinated to see. I think the value of that game will hold up, through the test of time, if that Lyman code ends up being fantastic.
Sure.
So it'll hold its value. I'm gonna say Cactus Canyon as well.
So we're
you
all
know?
on board for that. All of us.
It's
would take
actually
Cactus
making me
Canyon,
question what, just having this and thinking about it. Maybe I should be getting a Cactus Canyon instead of a Rush. Shit.
yeah.
You're not making a bad purchase with Rush. It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Craig, what's crazy about pinball is you can buy games and then sell them. So,
Yeah, exactly.
just
You're
a
not
thought.
married to them.
Yeah, just a
You're not
thought.
married to
Yeah.
them.
All right. So next one here. This one, I think I know the answer. I think I know the answer for everybody. I could
Oh
be
my God.
wrong.
I know your answer, Joel.
I know my answer, but tell me if I'm wrong. But Halloween,
Good
so this is
Lord.
really interesting. Greg and Zach obviously just did this. Greg and Zach both like Halloween, and Greg just got a Halloween. So this is a Stranger Things Pro, which new was what, 5 something? Now they're way more than that. But Stranger Things Pro versus Halloween, which that's a collector's edition, which I think is like $9K. So there's no money. Just which one, George? You got an answer there on yours?
So even though they're new in box 9K, you can easily pick up a Halloween, I think, for around 7K right now.
Yeah.
People are literally giving away their deposits
Yeah.
just to get out from under the purchase. So Stranger Things all day. I already went through this. I bought an Ultraman. I took a heavy loss on it, just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I would go Stranger Things, even the Pro.
I'm with Stranger Things, I genuinely miss having that game. Halloween, everybody knows how I feel about Halloween. Mike, do you agree? Am I wrong? Are we dumb? What's going on?
No, you're not dumb. Okay, so I've owned a Stranger Things Pro. I've done everything there is to do in the game. So I'm going to say this, having owned the game already and been done with it. I also have a respected friend who actually introduced me to the hobby competitively and locally and our local leagues and whatnot. And Halloween is his favorite game. He just said
How?
yesterday that
No.
he played the game for 2 hours straight yesterday and loves it. I've
Wow.
never played Halloween.
So you're
okay?
taking Halloween.
So I'm taking Halloween based on that opinion and the fact that I've owned a Stranger Things Pro
Just to
and
experience
was
it.
done
Okay.
with it
All right.
done with it. And they're apparently revamping a lot of the code and adding quite a bit to that Halloween. So
I mean,
Yep.
my biggest complaint with Halloween is the
Yep.
shots. Like the middle ramp. George, your unboxing stream of Ultraman, your first like 5 shots on the middle ramp, I'm pretty sure 3 of them rejected. And you're like, my middle ramp's rejecting. I need to look at that. It's like, no, that's the game. I mean, am I wrong? Did you battle that the whole time?
No, I didn't. So
Okay.
Eventually, I wasn't super concerned with the shots or the layout on the game, and it has, I would argue, the best artwork in pinball.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
It's so gorgeous. But yeah, it was the code, and when I sold it, I did so with I enjoy the layout. It's not the greatest, but it's not awful. It's just I don't want to wait a year and a half for the code to get caught up. So I sold it to somebody where I explained, if this is the kind of pin that you're good sitting on, and if you're good waiting for a couple of years, I expect it will get to a point where it's a very enjoyable game.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
said, it needs to be dialed in a bunch. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Joel. It rejected a ton after that unboxing, and I think we messed with the pitch. There was a whole bunch of dialing in, especially with the third upper playfield, because it wasn't looping
The
appropriately.
butt pretzel.
Yeah, the butt.
The butt pretzel. Yeah.
You know, I may regret my decision if I do get that Halloween in and I do get those rejects. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, but I'm sticking with
Hey,
my
no,
decision
no,
for the
I do
Halloween.
it. Do it,
Now,
yeah.
like I said, if I hadn't owned a Stranger Things already and done everything on it, I would probably pick the Stranger Things. But
Okay.
because I've been there, done that, I'm going Halloween.
All right, Craig.
The Halloween theme does nothing for me really, and I think my reservation about Stranger Things was actually that it would become somewhat dated over time, but I've grown to love that series more and more. Every time they release a new season, I like it more, and it's the one game that I passed on that I regret not having, because one, you wouldn't have lost on your investment. I mean, you'll
Yeah.
easily make money on that game these days, and two, I just think with some of the interesting features that Stern incorporated on that with the black lighting kit, if you can find one, and that projector, it's quite a unique
awesome.
machine, I think, in their world. As much as people destroyed that game when it first came out, I mean, it was Brian Eddy's, return to pinball, and he, I think, was unfairly lambasted when he came back.
It's Attack from Mars with the ramp. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not universally, but people, I don't think, I think people were looking for Mars Attacks 2.0, and they kind of didn't get it with this machine, and there were just some other quirky things that people didn't like. They didn't love the art. Some of the
The code was terrible when it
The
first
code was
came out,
bad.
too.
terrible.
It was not
When it first. So
Demogorgon doesn't work on
the
most.
Demogorgon, yep.
And also the telekinesis lock almost
Yeah.
never works on
Yeah.
any machine, which is a considerable amount of the reason you go for premium. Now, the projector, I think, compensates for the telekinesis not working, but
Mhm.
it was a huge reason I didn't get the premium when I initially attempted to order it and stepped down to the pro. It didn't seem like it was worth it, even though the projector seemed cool.
I would
Yeah.
hope Stern isn't exactly looking for ways to make a ton more money, but I mean they've got enough of an order list on the games they currently are making. But if they ever, Stranger Things is technically it's in the vault already, right? I mean it's just I wish they would re-up that license, and if they made premiums, they would sell lots of them. Just like in the back of my head, if they ever remade Walking Dead and made a comic book art, God, they would sell so many. I know it's the one I would buy. Like I would be tempted to buy one. It's just the art. If they did a comic book, if they vaulted Walking Dead and they got Randy Martinez to do some comic book art on it. Oh Lord, I know George is getting he's getting excited just thinking about it. But
Yes, I want it.
Yeah. All right, next one. So this is another this or that. This is a twofer. So there are people that say that Toy Story 4, all Toy Story 4 is No Good Gophers and Dialed In, right? So 2 for 1. Do you want Toy Story 4 or do you want Dialed In and No Good Gophers?
I love it.
George, we'll start with you on this.
Dialed In and No Good Gophers. Dialed In is a fantastic game that has been in and out of my collection twice.
Yep.
I love it. It is so fun. It is the worst theme I think I've ever experienced. It reminds me of watching like somebody has Fox News on in the background or something like that. Like the sounds on it are horrible. It makes fun of millennials the entire time, which is super tongue in cheek, and I can laugh, but the game plays well. The theme just brings it down, and I find myself not wanting to play it. No Good Gophers is a lot of fun. Pretty simple, but a lot of fun. And I would take 2 games over 1 here when you know that Dialed In is fantastic.
I I think I'm similar. I think I'm similar. I think I would get just as much enjoyment out I would probably get more personally I would get more enjoyment out of Dialed In than I would Toy Story. If I'm going to play the friends and family card, I think then friends and family can play No Good Gophers and have a great time on it while I'm going to be over here blowing up Dialed In. So I think I'm with you. 2 for 1. Mike, what are you thinking?
I'm in the same boat. I mean, I would have, like you said, I'd have more fun with just Dialed In more than I would on Toy Story. I think Dialed In is a fantastic game. I just think, like George said, the theme
Mhm.
was a miss. The game shoots fantastic. There's just no personality to it. There's the call outs, everything. Like it doesn't get you excited
Yep.
when you're playing the game, the modes, all that stuff. And then you get No Good Gophers, which is like a bonus. And that hole in one shot is pretty damn fun. It's a challenge to try and hit that hole in one, but it feels good when you hit it.
Mhm.
And the little pop-up little gophers under the ramps and everything are really cool too. It's got some great quirky call outs. It's a pretty interesting, unique layout as well. And you don't see too many of them. So yeah, definitely both of those games over Toy Story.
Cool. Craig?
I'm going to be the contrarian and go Toy Story over those two games.
Go for it. Yeah.
Not because I think it's necessarily a better shooter than Dialed In, because I do think Dialed In is better from a shooting perspective. But I'm going to say the theme for Toy Story trumps some of the benefits you get on the layout for the other two games. So I'm going to go Toy Story. I think more people that you would have over would, non-pinball people would gravitate toward the Toy Story hands down over those other two games in a blind, test. So I'm going to say theme would trump that. And I do think, Toy Story is a gorgeous game to look at with the light package they put on that and the art. I mean, if that doesn't say Disney, animation, I don't know what does. And I do think over time as well, as they tweak that a little bit, I think people will say that's a better game than what it's being billed at right now. I think the knock on Toy Story is the price right now. It's
The
not so
price
much
and the
that it's a
sound.
bad game.
The price,
Yeah,
sound, and
the
code,
sound. Yeah.
It has. I think there are some of the biggest issues with Toy Story can be fixed. They still have the ability to be fixed. So maybe, but we will. I mean, they're not going to lower the price, but the code and the sound could be improved for sure. All right. This one I'm curious about. I think I know Mike's answer, but Stranger Things Pro or Black Knight Pro? Stranger Things Pro, Black Knight Pro. We'll start with Mike because I already know it.
Yeah, for me, it's hands down Black Knight. Black Knight is actually one of my favorite modern Stern games. I still own it. It's in the corner over there. It's actually sitting where Stranger Things used to be. It's a simple game. There's not a lot to it compared to Stranger Things as far as the shots and the layout and whatnot. But that night mech is so good. I mean, it's got the knight and he talks.
Yep.
And his mouth lights up to his voice. He's got a little shield that when you bash it, it acts like a kickback, and that spinning flail and everything like that. That mech is so underrated. Actually, it's such a good mech, and I love the music. I love the theme. I love the modes. Black Knight, hands down.
Yeah. Craig, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go Stranger Things again, just for the theme, and I think it'll appeal to more people and be more instantly recognized. And for myself personally as well, although I'm a fan of the Black Knight series of machines, I think at the end of the day, the Stranger Things Pro would be more appealing over time. Yeah.
George, I really don't know what you're going to say. I really don't. I'm curious your thoughts here.
Yeah, I was thinking about it myself. So I came down to this. If I already have other pins, it's Black Knight Pro.
Okay.
If this is my only pin, I'd go Stranger Things Pro. Stranger Things, while brutal, is a bit of a longer. I would consider it a longer player. Black Knight Pro beats you up. It is brutal. Black Knight Pro between Black Knight and Ghostbusters Pro, those are the two games where I had, I think, like a 3-hour session on it, and by the end, I'm like, get this game out of my
yeah. Yeah.
immediately. Like, there are just times where the Black Knight, similar to World Cup Soccer and the goalie in the back, where the Black Knight is just brutal and beats you up, and the game as you progress forces you to hit him more and more. The shots collapse down to the center, and ultimately you have to fight the Black Knight, and that's a really dangerous shot, and I both love and hate that. So if I have other games to play for like a couple months and then I can come back to Black Knight Pro after I've cooled down appropriately, I say Black Knight. Otherwise, Stranger Things is a fun, enjoyable game. It may not be the best for competitive play, but man, theme integration is absolutely top notch.
Yep. I'm with you. I'm gonna go Stranger Things. I miss it. I miss having it. I know my friends and family really, really enjoy playing it. They would enjoy it way more than Black Knight. Black Knight would just piss them off immediately. But with that said, I've never had a Black Knight. I think I would enjoy it at least. But if it's like a long term, which one do you actually want? I'm gonna go Stranger Things. I just think it fits my play style better.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, people love coming over and getting their ass kicked by Black
Really?
Knight. Like, oh yeah, when we have people over, they play it, they try it. Like, actually, it gets played a lot more than you'd think it would. It gets played probably more than quite a few of the games here, and yeah, they love it's got a different feel. That's it. It's just it's a different feel.
What were you saying, George?
I wanted to jump on Pinmonk. Actually, I was going to bring it up, and Pinmonk said it before I could get there. Compare the toppers of the two. So Stranger Things Pro with that topper and a Black Knight Pro with its topper. And does that change anything? Because the Black Knight Pro topper, I would say, is the greatest of any topper of all time. It's so good.
Yeah.
But Stranger Things is pretty freaking awesome. Stranger Things has an amazing topper as well.
Yeah, I'll give you that. No, this was a good one. That was a good one. This is weird. It is GNR LE or Avengers Pro. No, that's premium. Avengers Premium.
That's a premium.
Avengers Premium or GNR LE. I think I know Craig's answer, so we'll start with him. And we'll give George some time
I would
to
have to
think.
be the Avengers. It's a way better shoot. The Avengers is a way better shooter. The art package on the Avengers is unbelievable. Like, that cab art is some of the nicest art, I think, out there for cab art. And you know, GNR is no slouch either, but I do love that gold and purple art package they put on the Avengers. And I just think it's a great shooter, you know. So, you know, in theme integration, I think they did a good job. Some of the callouts and video assets of the Avengers could be improved, I think. But it's a brutal game, and I think it's a much harder playing game than GNR is for most people. So for me, it'd be Avengers.
Okay.
You know.
All right, George.
I had it for I've had the thing for 2 years, and it's the only game I had, and I kept playing the hell out of the thing, which I question whether I would have played GNR quite as long if that was my only game in the house.
George, what do you think?
Anyway,
this is tough. I'm with Pride Pinball. I'm kind of a neither. I realize you can't do that. Yeah. So I really don't want GNR, but at the same time, I've owned an Avengers Premium, and I can't stand the Premium. If this was a Pro and cash on Avengers, it would be that easy.
Yeah.
But the Marvel ramp and how slow the game gets due to the subway on the Premium and LE, I'm frustrated by it. The Marvel ramp more than anything else. I've experienced like 30 or 40 returns that go straight down the middle, all at like key moments in the game as I'm really progressing. It's because they force you to hit Marvel as you progress more and more, and I can't stand it. I'm frustrated by it. So I'm going to say Avengers, but that's just how much I really dislike the band GNR.
You've made that quite clear. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going GNR. I'm going GNR. I enjoyed Avengers when I had it, but it really was just kind of lifeless. And I know my friends and family, there was nothing, at least with the Pro, that they were super excited to hit. With the Premium, I think they'd enjoy the spinner or the disc, but I just it just wasn't a hit. And I really enjoyed streaming it because you really have to think. But just for my play style and stuff, I think if I was just going to step up, and I think if I was to play one game, I would have more fun playing the one game of GNR than I would for Avengers. If I was going to stream for 2 hours, I'd probably have more fun on Avengers than GNR. But I like GNR, so I'm going to go with GNR. Mike, what are you thinking?
Again, I'm like right there with George on these two games. I am reluctantly picking Avengers. I too
Yeah.
like I have the Pro, and I think the Pro is a much better game. I don't like the Avengers, well, because you have those rejects on the right ramp. I also, that subway is not very reliable. That little that kicks your ball around
Yep.
underneath. But the disc that comes up when you light your gem modes and whatnot. I don't like it because the ball will sometimes randomly just fall in there. And when I'm playing my Avengers, you have to hit the big right ramp up top to start your gem modes. So I can get it ready and set it up when I want to have it ready and start it then. Where a lot of times the ball just falls in there and you're like, oh well, I guess I have to play this mode now or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm really
Mhm.
not a fan of that sort of feature of the game. And I mean, I'm not a fan of GNR, so I am reluctantly taking the Avengers premium.
That's fine. Yeah. So I just checked, and we are only halfway done with this slideshow, and we're at midnight. So we're gonna go real quick. We're gonna go kind of more fast, rapid fire to knock these out here. So this is a weird combo here. So Elvira Premium. So the guy that submitted this, he owns a Elvira Premium, and then he was looking at getting a Johnny Mnemonic, or his option was to sell Elvira and then get basically a Deadpool Pro and a Beatles Gold. So he was like this or that was kind of his weird thing. So Elvira Premium plus Johnny Mnemonic or Deadpool Pro for Beatles Gold. I know I'm going Deadpool and Beatles. That's my answer. I love Deadpool, and I think Beatles would be a lot of fun. Plus, Elvira has some assets that I can't have on display in my house. Mike, what are you thinking?
Come on.
Actually, Elvira and Johnny Mnemonic are actually really high on my list of wants. I want both of those
Okay.
games, so
Yeah.
I'm picking Elvira and Johnny Mnemonic.
Nice. Craig, what are you thinking?
Deadpool Pro and Beatles Pro. I just think the themes are better in general, and they're both great shooting games. So
All right.
I think Johnny Mnemonic's a dud. You know, it from a collector's standpoint.
Collector, yeah, it's not a theme, but it is a fun game. Johnny Mnemonic
It's
is
fast.
a fun game.
It's
yeah.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking, George?
Elvira Premium and Johnny Mnemonic. I love Elvira. I've just been hesitant to put it into the house, but
Okay.
I think if one pops up, I'm just going to take out the translate and put in a different translate. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy the game that much, and I love Johnny Mnemonic. I think it's a fun game, and it's the best worst movie I remember
Yeah.
seeing at the theater when it came out. Like that movie is so awful, it gets good again. It like wraps back around.
Sure.
And I've owned Deadpool, I think 3 times.
Many times.
There's a part of me that would love to have a Beatles, but it's another band that I just don't really care for.
I get you. Retro Singo, how you doing, man? 6 a.m. This guy's awesome. He makes some awesome content on YouTube. So welcome. 6 a.m. He's in Denmark right now watching this. So good morning. Good morning. All right. So next one, walking. This one really stumped him. Really, really hurt him. So definitely watch the video straight down the middle to like hear how they're talking through this. But Walking Dead Pro, Turtles Premium. So John Borg, like, kick your butt versus Avengers Pro and Jurassic Park Premium. Where they really struggled is they both love Walking Dead and they both love Jurassic Park. So, I don't know. Does any real quick? Remember, it's supposed to be real quick. So, let's go with Craig first. It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I'd say Avengers Pro and Jurassic Park because I do like that Jurassic Park Premium versus a TMNT Premium or the Walking Dead Pro. So I'd say the Jurassic Park Premium kind of pushes it over the edge for me.
Okay. George, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, God, this is tough, but I'm going to side on Avengers Pro and Jurassic Park Premium. I just love Jurassic Park that much.
Yeah.
I love The Walking Dead, but that's another game that that can beat you up.
Yep. I think I'm gonna go Walking Dead Turtles, and it's just because I really enjoy Turtles. I've never had a Jurassic Park in the house. I think I would enjoy it. I just know Avengers. I enjoyed it, but it was kind of a dud to everybody else. And I think even though The Walking Dead is currently not a theme I could have with little kids, I would have to do George's technique of putting a blanket over it or something when you weren't playing it, like when you owned it. But I think I'm going that way. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't think too hard about it. But Mike, I'm curious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like 51%, 49% for me. Walking Dead and TMNT is like the number one of these four for me, and the number four.
Yeah.
So it's like it's tough, but I'm probably leaning like 51% to Avengers and Jurassic Park.
Gotcha. No, yeah,
Yeah.
good choice. All right, Star Wars comic, the good one. Yep, Star Wars comic premium, so you get that Hyperloop, or Turtles Pro plus $3,000 cash. I don't know. Mike, I think you're going Star Wars.
No,
You've
I'm
had
not.
Star Wars,
No,
though.
I've
Yeah.
owned a Star Wars Pro. It's a good game.
This is a premium.
I'd own another one. Yeah, I'd own another one. The premium is definitely the way to go.
Okay.
But I would take the TMNT Pro and 3K. Yeah,
Okay.
I get another game.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Craig, what are you thinking here?
I'd go Star Wars comic premium just because I think the art on that is fantastic and the theme resonates more for me with Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. George?
Star Wars comic premium. It's a fun game. I've owned it. Not the comic though. The comic is just the same thing but better. And I'd like to have that in house a little bit, at least a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Turtles Pro. I love my Turtles, and 3K get me that topper with $2,000. Put them in my pocket. I think I would enjoy Star Wars, but I think that's a tough game to get a novice to enjoy. There's just not much to shoot that they're really going to be about. Retro Singo, that's a great question. Deadpool Ellie or Godzilla Ellie? I don't even want to answer it. that's a hard question. That's a hard question. Big Lebowski versus Wizard of Oz. So what Zach was saying was he currently has a Big Lebowski, but he has a trade potentially lined up to trade for a Wizard of Oz, the Golden Brick Road edition. Does anybody have a preference? I mean, I'm just on theme alone, I'm going Big Lebowski. I would enjoy that pin more. I just don't really care for Wizard of Oz at all.
Yeah. I've played Big Lebowski. It has the Bolly Williams feel. It feels like a Bolly Williams game. The rules are like a Bolly Williams game. I'm going Big Lebowski.
Yep. Craig?
I'd say the same. And I think the code, there's a chance that code may actually improve over time still, too. Aren't they talking about continuing to tweak it just a bit over time?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about that. What about
I'd
you?
hold out some hope for that.
What are you thinking, George?
It's Big Lebowski. I love the theme, love the movie. My big issue there is just that every Big Lebowski is broken everywhere on location.
Yeah.
They never play right. The left flipper never makes it up the right ramp. So I would do so. That's how much I'm not a fan of Wizard of Oz. I would do so knowing that I would constantly be fixing Lebowski.
Yeah. Yep. Retro Sengo Day. I think I already said Big. I think I'd go Godzilla LE over Deadpool LE. I think is my answer. But Funhouse or Radical? This is a random one. Funhouse or Radical? I can tell you, I've never played a Radical. Check out that screenshot, by the way. I've never played a Radical, but I've seen it and I think it looks. I think I would have more fun on Radical. That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna go Radical. George is shaking his head. I think he agrees.
Radical's amazing.
Okay.
I love Radical, and that's on my wish list. I just it never pops up.
Yep. The Funhouse, though, you have the option of potentially getting that 2.0 code, kind of doing more with it. I don't know.
Also being murdered in your sleep. Funhouse is the scariest game ever. There is
that Rudy freaks me out.
Rudy freaks me out. I don't like him.
So Craig, you're in a Radical. You're going Radical as well.
Take a Radical too,
Yep.
and then I'd sell it to Zach and get the pinball bounty.
There you go. There you go. Mike, are we going to be? You're going.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going Radical. Funhouse is enticing for that extra package with the Nightmare 2.0, but Radical is such a flowy, fun game. It's definitely Radical.
Retro Cinco. I've owned 3 of them. So yeah, check out his videos. Awesome. All right, next one. Cactus Canyon LE or Monster Bash LE? Cactus Canyon or Monster Bash? I'm gonna go Cactus Canyon.
Cactus Canyon.
Cactus Canyon.
Cactus Canyon.
Okay, there we go. Champion, this is weird. Pen Monk, what are you? Champion Pub plus Junkyard or Guns N' Roses LE? So like very I don't know, like Champion Pub is such a crazy game. Junkyard is also weird. I mean, I'm going Guns N' Roses LE. That's to me. The other ones are fun, but I can't see owning those two.
What's Junkyard? I'm not familiar with
It's
that.
a pinball machine. It has this cool like swinging ball in the back. With
Okay.
different
Crane.
levels.
It's like a crane
Yeah.
almost.
It's weird. It's a weird game. It's weird. This has to be an IQ test. Pride Pinball, Sean, he's saying Champion Pub and Junkyard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Pride Pinball here. Champion Pub and Junkyard.
Just for, have you owned either, or just you think they're more fun, or you just really hate GNR? Yeah.
I have never owned either. Champion Pub has so many crazy mechanics and toys on it. It has a jump rope, and
It
you have
does.
to time kicking up the ball, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. And Junkyard similarly is a junkyard of all these different rule sets and games. They're two
crazy.
Great
It's a crazy
And
game.
Not a fan of Guns N' Roses.
Mike?
Yeah, again, I said earlier I'm a big fan of the Bolly Williams, so this is an easy one for me. It's Champion
Two of
Pub
'em.
and Junkyard. Like, Champion Pub. It has a lot in it. It's a very unique game,
Yeah.
just like Junkyard is as well. The modes in Junkyard are like little modes, and they have little things from all different other Bolly Williams games too. So yeah, hands down.
Interesting. I thought that would be no, I'm on the weird. Okay. Yeah, no, maybe I need to give those two a little more of a shot, but
I do Champion Pub and Junkyard too.
then I'm the odd one out.
Just to
me
triple
and Pin
team
Monk.
you.
Me and Pin Monk over here are playing GNR, yeah. Mike, I think you're gonna like this one. I think this one might be hard.
It is
really
hard.
comes down to your
Yeah.
feeling of Demo Man, but Congo
Well,
and Demo Man or Led Zeppelin
I've-
Pro and Rush Pro.
I've owned a Demolition Man and I miss it. I do want another Demolition Man, but I got to go Led Zeppelin and Rush Pro. I really love Congo though. I really love Congo.
know,
But
yeah.
Led Zeppelin and Rush Pro.
Mhm.
Okay. Craig?
I agree. Led Zeppelin and Rush Pro. As much as I'm kind of cool on Led Zeppelin, I'm kind of equally cool on Demolition. So those two kind of can't cancel each other out.
Okay.
And I just like a more modern game versus Congo. Although Congo is very fun, smashing that the gorilla paddles at the bottom is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
On that lower play field.
Yeah.
Retro Singo. So all of these questions are from the Straight Down the Middle video. That's already on YouTube. And then this video, what we're doing right now, will be on YouTube as soon as the stream's over. George, what are you thinking? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I muted myself. I'm thinking Led Zeppelin Pro and Rush Pro.
Okay.
I've owned Congo and Demolition Man. Congo is fantastic. Demolition Man is super boring after you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just 4 multi-balls. That's all
Yeah.
it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but Led Zeppelin and Rush have copious amounts of depth.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the modern pins. If I Congo is appealing, but Demolition Man is not. So it's just I would rather go Led Zeppelin or Rush over that. Yeah, for sure. This is kind of nuts. So Guns N' Roses LE plus $8,000 for
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean LE. Now I know George doesn't. He's got a strong distaste for both of these games. So is George gonna buy? Is he gonna take Guns N' Roses just for the cash, so he doesn't have to get Pirates? George, go ahead. Yes is
Guns
the
N'
answer.
Roses LE plus 8K over Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pin Monk is saying Pirates. I have only played Pirates in a bar a handful of times. There's just a ton there, and I don't know. Maybe if I had one in my house, I'd fall in love with it. I know it's a very divisive game, but I just can't. I mean, Guns N' Roses plus 8K, you can do so much with 8K. So many great games you can buy with 8K, and I, unlike the other three, don't hate GNR, so I'm gonna go GNR plus the 8K. Mike, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so Pirates is like just this much ahead of GNR for gameplay, but then GNR is this much ahead for theme, so I'm taking GNR and the cash.
Okay, all right.
DNR in the cash for me too.
Yeah, and not to spoil Zach and Greg's video, but they basically were like, they love pirates, but it's clear that the value of pirates is just they don't love pirates enough to justify that, so they can't pass up GNR plus 8K. This is one. So somebody had answered this in the question. So there can only be one. A Stern Pro newer than 2017. Stern Pro newer than 2017. What are you taking?
Where's Jurassic Park in that?
I think you're good.
Okay,
I think you're good. Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Mike?
When was Guardians made? I think it was 2016.
Let me look.
If Guardians if Guardians is over 2016, then I'm picking Guardians. But
okay. Okay, we'll go on to Craig.
Pride says October 2017.
Then you're good. So Guardians
So
is your answer.
I think I'm going Guardians. Yeah.
Yep. Craig, Pro.
I haven't played the Godzilla Pro, so I'm not sure if I'd like it
It's
as
fun.
much.
It's fun.
Did you say it's fine?
It is. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably take the Godzilla Pro.
I would personally be between Godzilla and Deadpool, but I'm going to go Deadpool. Deadpool Pro would be my answer there.
Wow, I thought it would be for like Godzilla's or something.
No.
We only got one.
No, and I mean that's a good answer before 2017. But if you go with what, maybe we'll spin it real quick. So out of the 12 games that are still that you can buy, technically we all fit, right? Because Guardians, they just had their last run, but technically you can still buy them. Jurassic Park, yeah. Deadpool, yeah. And then I'm sorry, Craig, which one did you say?
Godzilla.
So yeah, I'll have Godzilla Pro after watching Joel's stream. Yes, Godzilla Pro is a great time. And the last question here, and I'm very curious, and I know Craig has been struggling with this on his Godzilla. Interior art blades or mirror blades? Does anybody? I personally have art blades in Turtles. I have mirror blades in TNA. My Deadpool Premium came with art blades. I don't love the art in this because it's so red. So I've thought about going mirror blades. But when my Godzilla Premium shows up, I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know what I'm going to put in it. Mike, do you have a strong opinion?
I do. I have both in some of my games too. Iron Maiden has graphics, and then I have mirror blades in Avengers. And I'm going to be really quick, but it's mirror blades, and it's because it opens up the game more for you, and the reflection of the light, it actually helps light up the game a little more. And I feel like it opens up the game much more for you, brightens it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I know for a fact, if this Deadpool didn't have the art blades, it was here when I bought it, I would have gone mirror blades all day. But Godzilla, I like the art that Zombie Eddie drew for Godzilla, so that's where I'm struggling. I think, Craig, did you make a decision between mirror blades?
Well,
and
I
art
was
blades?
I've been trying to get the art blades for Godzilla. But I haven't really seen a modern game with mirror blades in it. So I keep looking at my Avengers that has art blades in it, and I really like how the art, it just seems more complete to me, the way it looks with the art coming up the sides as well. Truthfully, now that I've been playing my Godzilla and I look at both, you're not missing that much by not having them put in, but it just kind of is like that final finishing touch on them. So it's a struggle though, because I'm tempted with those mirror blades to see what that looks like, because I kind of feel like the art is reflected on the mirror anyway, so you kind of get, like Mike was saying, the best of all worlds there. You get something that brightens up your playfield a little bit with the reflection and the illusion of more width and art on the sides.
Yeah. Ketchup John Mustard, how you doing?
Damn it, I'm selling myself on a mirror blade.
I think I'm going to be in a position where when Godzilla shows up, I think I'm going to actually order a set of mirror blades with the idea that I'm going to put them in, like, just visually kind of put them there and then if I don't like it or if I'm on the edge, then I can always put them in Deadpool. that's
So
my
where
backup.
would you say buying them from, Joel? Where would you
I
look
don't
to buy
have a
those?
great answer there. I mean, with you Canadians, I don't know if you can get them locally, but I know CoinTaker sells them. I know there's
Okay.
there's a
Tilt
few.
Graphics or Pin Graphics
Pin
is
Graphics has
specializes
them.
in blades. Yeah. They
Yeah,
even have like hybrid mirror blades with graphics
with
on them
graphics
too.
on. I
Yeah.
struggle a lot with the aftermarket. Get mirror blades from CoinTaker on their Black Friday sale. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I struggle with some of the aftermarket, just the art. When the art is a completely different style than the artist, what they
Mhm.
drew, like I just don't understand
That's
that.
horrible. Yeah.
But George, do you have a thought on this?
Yeah, I'm going art blades.
Okay.
I've had many art blades and I've had several mirror blades. And the reason I would go art blades, and it is situational. Like Ghostbusters, the art blades that were done by Zombie Yeti are fantastic. And I'm
Yep.
looking at the art blades on Godzilla LE right here, and those are fantastic. But you look at
Mhm.
TMNTs and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sucked.
Really?
Um,
I like them. That Zombie Yeti drew?
there's so yeah, there's so much blue sky and not enough content on the art blades. Like the majority of it is nothing except buildings.
Yeah, Cityscape. Okay.
Um,
Now that you've pointed out, I
it-
don't like them anymore. No,
I'm sorry.
I'm just joking. I'm just-
But also mirror blades are thick. And they actually can make it hard to pull to pull the playfield out when you need to do something. And when I had them on Deadpool, I ended up scratching them in the same place all the
bummer.
time.
Yeah.
So I decided, I think, a while back to stick with the art blades as opposed to doing mirror blades.
I have mirror blades on. I have mirror blades on TNA, and it's awesome because the light show's so great on TNA. It just reflects more light. But yeah, every time I lift that playfield, I'm cautious. Now I know they make these like playfield protector sleeves that you can get that I think Muselmod sells and a few others. So maybe that's the solution. Spending $35 and then you can just drop those in. Yeah, got to use plastic protectors with mirrors. Yeah, so we'll see. Well, that is it. So once again, thank you, Zach and Greg, for putting this together. I thought it was a good discussion for us to have, and definitely check out their video. Listen to them. They disagreed with a lot of what we said. So if you enjoy this discussion, there's a whole nother video to have as well. But yeah, I really have enjoyed chat. Chat has been incredibly active tonight. Sorry we haven't been super or talked a ton about it. But yeah, I think they've kind of kept themselves entertained. And if anybody's watching this on YouTube afterwards, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment. But to wrap this up, let's do plugs. We'll do opposite direction. So plug away. Craig, go ahead.
Craig Bobby from doing Top Stories, the Top Stories news segment on the Pinball Show with Zach Meny and Dennis Kriesel, which can be found on the Pinball Network's podcatcher every Monday.
Yep. Very cool. Thank you, Craig, for being here. George, go for it.
Thanks, Joel.
No, absolutely.
George from Don't Panic Flip streams on Monday and Tuesday, the Pinball Network on Thursday, and we have a big event coming up at Expo this year with flipping the script on autism for TV as well.
Yes, that's a great plug. Great
Great
plug.
point.
Yep. Mike, go for it.
Mike, you can catch us on Mondays and Fridays in the afternoons on Pinballers on Twitch, as well as Tuesday evenings on TPN, and the odd tournament stream here and there. And that's about it.
All right, and I'm starting the raid right now. We're gonna raid our good buddy Frisco Hottie, so definitely say hi to him. That should be a good time. I want to make sure that raid's going through. And I think we are good. Yep. Okay. And I am Joel. So tomorrow night, I will be streaming on the Flippin' Out stream. Come check me out. I think I'm going to play some Deadpool tomorrow. So it should be a good time. Come hang out with that. Triple Drain, we just released a Triple Drain episode earlier this week. And then Cleepin is happening next Saturday, like next weekend. And I think as of right now, I'm pretty confident I'm going to be there. So hopefully, if anybody's going to Cleepin, definitely come and say hi. But yeah, between the four of you guys, really appreciate you being on here. Enjoyed the conversation. Just call me Jub Jub. What a great name. Great stream as always. Craig, it's Craig Bobby. Your piece is my favorite part of the pinball show. So nice. Retro Singo,
Oh,
thank
nice.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for the compliments, man. Can't wait to watch it from the start. Yeah. No, it'll be up very soon. So enjoy it. I'm glad you do. And Pin Monk, as always, appreciate your support, not only with TPN, but also in chat. Yeah, read the room. I didn't put together the questions, but yes, it was very GNR and Toy Story heavy. But yeah, there's Straight Down the Middle has done a lot of these videos. Support. Yeah, support. Yeah, yeah, I get you. So yeah, this raid should happen, I don't know, in another 10, 15 seconds. Enjoy it. You must not be reading the chat. Well, thanks for being here, Victor. Thank you for being here. And there we go. There goes the raid.
Yep.
So if anybody's still here, thanks for being here tonight, and catch us in 2 weeks.